Another day, another broken plan. Feels like the world is slipping through my hands. I think I'm losing control, can't seem to find my way home. I sat and watched my only map turn itself into stone. I'm hoping I can find a silver lining. Transmission, but you're not replying. We're losing signal over the horizon. That's screaming over radio silence. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you're breaking up. I wonder if you'll ever understand. I sacrifice you to avoid the end. Don't think that you'll ever know just how low I would go to save myself from all the madness in your undertones. I'm hoping I can find a silver lining. Transmission, but you're not replying. We're losing signal over the horizon. That's screaming over radio silence. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up. I think you'll break it up.
at yourself? Can you accept what you've become? Another simple shadow of whoever you're around. Mold to them and sing their songs, dress like them and play along. Tear what's left of you out to put away their doubts. Take it out and tear it up. Tear it up until it cuts and leaves the smallest piece. Who are you when no one's around? Are you capable of life through yours and no one else's eyes? Scrap the words into your skin. Just go against the wave, 'cause we all end up in the same place. Drown the words of your real friends, they're waiting for this phase to end. No one likes to hear the words I told you so. Take it out and tear it up. Tear it up until it cuts and leaves the smallest piece. Who are you when no one's around? Are you capable of life through yours and no one else's eyes? Scrap the words into your skin. Just go against the wave, 'cause we all end up in the same place. When your eyes shut, will you leave with the wrong story told? In your last breath, will you wonder, was I always a ghost? Was I always just a ghost or someone else? Was I staring at the end, but I will not give in. I will fight until the end. We're staring at the jump into the flames, the flames, because I know a fire burned inside of you, and I would jump into the flames, the flames, just to burn with you. can drown in the lies that you keep around. This house is not a home when you sold the only name you own. 'Cause when you live a lie, you will fail. Give up before you try. Live it up 'cause you'll do what you want. Real truth, I'm not as scared as you are. Every day you try to take a piece of me, but you won't break me. Sounds like I'm better off dead. With too many things unsaid. When nothing's gonna stop me now. Not another day will dawn for those who do not hold on. When nothing's gonna stop me now. I've come to my senses around now. Pick myself back up and you bring me back down. To find that I'm right where I started. Now I'm leaving myself behind, only a little at a time. Drowning in a sea of faithless. Just give me patience. Live it up 'cause you do what you want. Real truth, I'm not as scared as you are. Every day you try to take a piece of me, but you won't break me. Sounds like I'm better off dead. With too many things unsaid. When nothing's gonna stop me now. Not another day will dawn for those who do not hold on. When nothing's gonna stop me now. Every day ends to begin. Take a deep breath and let's start again. Every day ends to begin. Take a deep breath.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the North American Community Stream here with Challengers Elite. It's stage 3 of my hold shift. With me is Proper, and we're going to have, look, I'm not going to lie. We had a really hard time deciding which of the main matches we wanted to watch, as the official stream is only covering one. There's going to be a pretty competitive event happening, I think, over the next 3 weeks across this region. We'll be taking a look at Built by Gamers versus New York Subliners Academy first. All intents purposes, these are two teams, or pardon me, UT Crew versus New York Subliners Academy first. All intents purposes, both these teams have been represented in some form throughout the first 3 stages, so we should have a pretty good game on our hands.
Yeah, we really should. Subliners Academy, it's funny that you mentioned the history of them being represented through multiple stages. Well, now they are actually back in representation from when they won stage 1. Now that Hamza is coming back into the mix, we know that Hydra's now playing with New York Subliners proper. Back over towards the CDL they go. I'm interested to see what they do. But now here in Elite, the question really kind of presents itself. What kind of role now is Spark going to play? What kind of are they going to fulfill throughout the entirety of the map? We know that they've been going back and forth of playing the AR flex, while also trying to play the main AR role when it comes down to when they were doing with Hydra. But now when that's gone, are they going to go back to that fast pace with that AR in hand to join with the likes of both Saints and Prolute?
Should be really interesting. I think just to kind of see, because I think one of the things we talked about a lot with this early New York Subliners Academy roster was their ability to run 3 SMGs when required. And now this meta, you would think there might be some big opportunities for that. But so far, it's just Saints Prolute. First couple of kills, UT Crew battling back, keeping things relatively even. Spart will clean up one more, make it a second clean start for the Subliners Academy.
Yeah, it is a pretty clean start, too. Look at player number 4 actually move their way across the top lane. Saints finds 2 on the flank. That's going to keep UT Crew trapped ever more so. And now Subliners Academy, they can soak up as much hill time as possible. Their main goal is, of course, to keep P1 scrappy, given that they started on the favorite side of the map.
Down to, can they lock this side of the map down, because you do have pressure from UT Crew starting to amount. Major Maniac trying to slide through, and well, you figure that one of the reasons why he's down here is to obviously try to get back to CDL form. I think one of the biggest criticisms was the fact that he was playing extremely slow. We did not see that, though, when he was playing in North American qualifiers to get into this stage 3 with this squad. He's playing pretty lights out, pretty fast, and that's encouraging stuff, I think, if you're a Major Maniac fan. You're going to need that here as well, as UT Crew are still empty from points. And NYSL Academy, recognizing that the hit from behind is likely going to be where all of the pressure from UT Crew is, so they step off the hard point, deal with the kills, and now turn your attention to the hill and zoning forward.
I think there are a lot of eyes on Major Maniac, of course. You have to tap into that aggressive state that they were kind of showcasing back in Black Ops 4 when they were playing with Gen G with the likes of Nagafin and co. But say even still, with a sub in hand, what kind of work can they show? 2-5 for the start. Subliners Academy still set up here pretty darn convincing inside of P2. Only scrap time left, so that means that Phantoms will try to threaten, contest, maybe find a couple of exit frags before we go towards the belly of the plane.
Still perfect so far, over 60 points for NYSL Academy. Yeez able to find himself one to try to zone off this third hard point, but Saints has been such a nuisance. He's all over the map. He just has the 2 seconds worth of hard point time because he is playing that road roll. Gonna track down Yeez up top, easy elimination, down low, sees the barrel of Major Maniac, but it's Spart who finds the kill. So UT crew, who were looking to kind of zone off exit kills and then play for initial time at third, they come up empty again from their setup.
Yeah, and you just look from top to bottom, right? You already highlighted Saints. They're double positive, 11-5. Who's also double positive? That's going to be Spart. Again, when you go back to what Subliners Academy really were at their core, it was always Spart and Saints, really, that were running in tandem. Yes, Prolute is there as well. They're double negative, but now they can go back to playing that SMG role that can try to find different avenues of attack, and that really sets up Spart and Saints to really pinch all the way through. The UT crew finally work their way. They finally get themselves on the board shift here with about 18 seconds. Scrap time inside of P3. Subliners Academy, they're okay with this. They're probably going to hit through P3 one more time before focusing on that A Street.
You do have number 6 in Major Maniac who's trying to lock down Concrete, but of course I talk about him and he immediately drops, so it's up to Yeez to have a heroic moment, which at least he's able to find one elimination, but he's going to have to push forward past this container side. We've also got now Major Maniac playing the middle of the map, so initial time okay now for UT crew, but watch those yellow arrows. They're starting to make their way across the map, and as they do, Prolute finds the first kill. He can work from the backside of a pinch, but it's Rex who's able to find the immediate trade. He's also finding one more, which means UT crew, they will lock down this front 20 seconds.
Question comes to be, how long can they zone away from me? You can see Spart still set up in top of the plane. They're the player that can really blow this wide open. Major Maniac's got a Krig. They just holding down this lane. They go ahead and just slide, cancel towards the side, finds themselves a number 3. 7 and 8 now. How long can they keep this streak going and keep the spacing provided? UT crew, now they're right back into it. Just a 10-point game between them and Subliners Academy ahead of the scrap time being soaked up for them. It's going to be one good break, and they can almost just threaten the lead.
There it is. Lead swap will come through. You also have Prolute, who does spawn out, technically speaking, but UT crew is not moving all that quickly to get behind, so there's actually an opportunity for a pinch to come through if it's even required. Saints is going to be able to help out Spart, making sure the back play stays relatively safe. Major Maniac hoping for a double, but Prolute will deny, and the Subliners will actually spawn right back in behind Wood for this 5th hard point. Phantom's trying to play his life. Maybe to block spawns, and yeah, he actually does with that kill from Yeez. Now all of a sudden Subliners Academy are going to spawn out, and the hard point will go neutral. We can test to see who exactly will lock things down on the left side of the map.
And Prolute's just trying to keep their life towards the back. They're actually going to be snuffed out by Yeez, so now Subliners Academy look at the Glock for about 30 seconds. Just trying to hit this from the front one more time, but Yeez and Phantoms, they're going to have the crossfire available. Fantastic play for them to be able to fight back in, to play for the back 30. Only were they able to flip the lead back over towards P4, but now they're going to be sitting here pretty, going in towards the second set of hills.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect, we'll say first 2.5 hills rotationally from the Subliners Academy, but the back 2.5 hills for UT crew were not just good positionally, they were good all over the hard points. I mean, finding what nearly a full 60 time when it comes to the 4th hard point, and then being able to continue to work Subliners around that wood area leads to them in a pretty significant spot. But of course, that conversation changes as we go right back to the first hard point where the Subliners Academy looked so darn good. And you feel like he's going to have to make a play here to try to open things up from the wing. He's trying to work this with Rex, but Prolute, Hamza, they will shut the play down in the first 20 seconds. Good for Subliners Academy. And beyond that, now an opportunity to move across the map and influence spawns.
Yeah, UT crew took the opportunity to be able to flip out the spawns for P2, but you still have a lot of time while P1 is active to be able to do the play that you're seeing right on your screen. Prolute just hits it out on a 4 streak, just trying to get the rest of these players out. From now is their backline. We'll find Major Maniac. That's number 5. Pick up the Krig 6 to help themselves out. Nice flip for Subliners Academy going in towards P2.
They do give up a little bit of time on the first hard point. And Saints tagged up. Needs a little bit of help. Need to keep his life because he's the one who's trying to zone off exits, and help comes by form of Hamza. Now Saints. Nice damage. Technically giving him the assist for the second. Spart cleans up his work. But Yeez has snuck into the back. And you kind of feel like the Subliners will recognize that there is somebody in the backside here simply due to the fact that they haven't seen Yeez in some time. But Spart, who's responsible for the hardpoint time overall, really can't go chase him down. And Yeez finds two. One more around the corner. Not going to get the third. Prolute keeps it safe. And with that, the Subliners will still spawn up in the back favorably.
So trying to contest it inside the yellow crate. Prolute stuck in a little 1v1. Use some help trophy system. A little bit late, but the Semtex is not even clearing across the other side of the door. Just Prolute just flirting with death. Finally, Hamza will be there to give them some much needed relief. Well, all of the Subliners Academy really well. And good job overall just fending off the hit from UT Crew. Yeez almost had an attempt to blow it open, but couldn't stick around for too much longer. It's just so hard to be able to break inside the stronghold that is P2 on Checkmate from time to time, but only a 20-point lead or so. UT Crew now looking towards the middle of the map, and well, if history is doomed to repeat itself from the first set of hills in towards the second, UT Crew might be able to bring themselves right back into it. It just comes down to their ARs to lock down these open avenues.
Prolute does well to find a couple of kills. That'll open up some space into the plane, but there's the ARs you're talking about. Phantom's able to find one trade. Knows that Hamza's playing the left side, but didn't trust it. Hamza finds the kill. Easy looking for the exchange. Hamza, though, reads him beautifully. Beautiful stuff. 5 in a row for Hamza Glow Frosty. And now you're into a position to where UT Crew are required to find a way to break and still lock down a rotation to get over to the fourth to get this back to even.
And you can see the swap up too. UT Crew towards the back end of P1. They started to put Rex a little bit closer towards the sub roll, trying to pick up that little bit of the pace. That slow nature that Major Maniac does bring to the table. It's got to be picked up somewhere to join the likes of Yeez. You can see them absolutely flourishing. 23 and 18 Phantoms. We know can be a pretty aggressive main AR, sitting at 21 and 18, but they're missing that extra little umph, right? You can see Smart and Saints absolutely flourishing, and just like that, UT Crew are going to be able to find a favorable 3-for-1 trade, but still not exactly the opportunity to break past the 50-yard line shift. So Subliners Academy will still have these open opportunities to be able to work their way closer towards the hill.
Lockdown needs to come out here for UT Crew. First couple of kills, not great. Phantoms has to pick up where everyone else had left off. Nice second, not going to get a third, but now Yeezy back into the hard point. Finds the elimination. Nobody from the Subliners Academy can touch, at least not for right now. Waiting to get this set up, but they do lose Saints mid-map. So now you got to make a decision here if you're Subliners, because you cannot allow UT Crew to get into concrete, but you also don't want to allow them to get 30 free seconds. So they will try to pinch things up, but the kills are just not there. UT Crew growing their lead and potentially getting over the 200-point threshold first.
It's and doing a great job too. You see Phantoms were able to lock down a handful of those kills, just making it all the more potent for Yeez to work their way to this position. You can just work the crossfire. The lead, like you said, back in the favor for UT Crew, and Yeez is just going to hit this all the way towards the back. Arrow on the minimap you got to be focusing on will be Hamza, but they're under immediate pressure too. This is wonderfully executed for UT Crew. This is the pace they've been missing, Shift.
Major Maniac dealt with on the pinch. Subliners Academy in a position to lock down a full setup for the 5th hard point, which is something they were unable to do the last time around. UT Crew's lead being threatened and will likely be supplanted here in just a moment. Saints just running rampant inside the plane, looking for somebody to shoot at. Will eventually grab Yeez, but still loses the gunfight, and Major Maniac finding a second. 30 seconds to play, and there might be an opportunity brewing for UT Crew to work their way in from the front to at least contest some of this time. You cannot let them get this for free. The hit's trying to come through. Yeez will fall. It's just down to Rex. He also drops. 3-for-1, and the Subliners Academy will essentially grab a full 60 here in the 5th hard point.
And that was such a big 60. They just kept UT Crew zoned away. Nobody got wildly aggressive. That's the first time it seems like the entirety of the hard point, the Subliners just sat there, turtled up, and played for the time. And just when it meant to rotate back towards the plane, they hit the gas, and now they are existing inside of the hill. Do they read the spawns flanking around? Well, surely they will now that Saints gets gunned from the back. Prolute gets spawned in. A nice little 2-piece from them, and they will be there for the initial time. 10 seconds are all they need to win map 1.
And UT Crew are being zoned by Saints, but they do find the elimination. Someone's got to get in touch. Major Maniac from the wing. He's able to find one elimination. Sliding on forward is Yeez. Has to keep his life versus 2 Subliners, but it's not going to happen. But Phantoms is able to at least find one trade. But Saints comes back forward. Maybe you got some spam shots through the walls, and that'll be enough for the Subliners Academy to hang on 250 to 203.
You almost want to think that that 60-point plus advantage to the 0 seconds that UT Crew had at the beginning, it's not just necessarily the difference, because UT Crew, again, from hills 3 all the way to 5 in the first set, were right back in. They were always threatening to lead, but it came down to P5 in the second set of hills for Subliners Academy. They just flipped the switch. They just slow up things considerably. and they just wait for UT Crew trying to work their way back into the hill. Obviously, they had to make a move. They don't want Subliners Academy to get as comfortable as they obviously did, but when it came down to the head-to-head gunfights, it really only felt like Yeezy and sometimes some Phantoms to really win the one-on-ones, but Major Maniac was just a non-benefactor as far as the breaks are concerned. Just could not bring the same sort of strength that we saw from Pro Loot, Saints, as well as Spart.
Update on our second stream as well. TMNT, Parasite & Co., able to take down Triumph in map number 1, 250 to 114. But taking a look at this best of 5, as that's going to be our main focus overall. Coming up next for the Search and Destroy will be Miami, and then another Checkmate will be waiting for us for the Control. And I will say one thing, you know, we haven't really talked a lot about this, but you had mentioned at the top of the broadcast that this is essentially the OG NYSL Academy roster. They were forced to have to learn Checkmate because when this was their 5-man roster, they had to play up against Wester time and time again. And we already know that that old Wester squad was dominant when it comes to Checkmate. So
yeah.
Does that potentially lead to some more favor for them there? We'll have to wait to find out when we eventually get to that map number 3. Also, kind of as another kind of shout to the old NYSL roster. We remember that they were one of the first teams to largely play a lot of Miami Search and Destroy back in like December and January. So I don't know. This feels a little nostalgic to see these 4 guys teaming up together and trying to give their work out here for stage 3.
Yeah, it was them in Fantastic Four, or even when Jimbo and Sid were still playing with UT Crew, right? It was those 2 teams, and we saw a lot of Miami Search and Destroy. But it's the nature that you get from all the players that I just listed, and the same thing with this OG Subliners Academy roster. Again, when you think about off the top of your head for both Saints and Spart, very aggressive players, but to also kind of twine this together with the previous point that you were talking about with this OG Subliners Academy roster. Think about what Spart has been able to pick up when they were playing with Hydra, right? Trying to learn that main AR role while also trying to flex when it was needed, when they were still playing that sightless QBZ as well. That it kind of made them pull back and be a little bit more reserved, but can also be aggressive when it's more than necessary. It's a lot more of a disciplined Spart, I would say, between this stage and now stage 1. And I think that adds a lot more versatility to the squad for Subliners Academy, for Prolo to be able to play their life, play the OBJ a little bit more, Hamza to get a little bit more set up. It's a lot more deadly, as we saw from a lot of those executes on the Checkmate hardpoint. But for Miami Search and Destroy, this is, again, very AR dependent, where you would think that both Major Maniac and Phantoms would be able to force Major Maniac again. How many times are we going to continuously highlight them as being a very slow and methodical AR? Well, now you get your opportunity, right? You get a very big map like Miami Search and Destroy, where you can kind of pick and prod which different avenues you want to be holding off. I would assume that they'll probably be the main visitor AR for this team of UT Crew, that they can really just wait for those lines of sights to be given to them for the kills.
Indeed the case. We'll step away for a small break real quick. We'll be back with Miami Search and Destroy, though, right after this.
No answers for questions we keep evading. Before the sun went on, we can point the blame, but it doesn't matter. It ended before it begun. Now we run. The shadow lingers on. We feel the devil stare, but we move on like we don't care. 'Cause inside this
Welcome back, everybody. We're jumping on in, getting ready to go for the Miami Search and Destroy. A tight first hard point between UT Crew and New York Subliners Academy, but it would be Subliners Academy finding the 250-203 win. So now we have to turn our attention over to the Search and Destroy overall. Again, we are going to be able to provide you guys a couple of extra look-ins to what's going on with the TMNT and Triumph match. Like as mentioned, TMNT were able to take the first map 251-14. They find themselves on a Moscow Search and Destroy where Triumph are actually currently up. So definitely some things to kind of keep your eye on as we move forward. Just coverage everywhere. It's all we're trying to do. Bring as much coverage as we possibly can.
Yeah, and don't forget about the main channel too. Right underneath my face, you can see youtube.com/COD Challengers. We'll actually bring you to the main channel as well, where it's all knotted up one apiece between BBG and Easter. So, I mean, like, that's also a slamming matchup, and we have one right in front of our face here as well. We were highlighting a lot of different aspects about these two teams, historically, just from UT Crew to Subliners Academy alone on this very map, but talk about the OG Subliners Academy being 3-4 here back on stage number 1. What can they offer here today?
Well, they're going to give us something to offer, as it's going to be a 3-man hit for at least an A look for UT Crew, whereas the Subliners Academy, they've already taken the middle of the map. Prolude has already pushed forward. He's taken over the driveway. I don't think anyone knows that he's here. Now, granted, Phantoms is backed up to stay safe, but the flank is wide open. Prolude's going to find one slide away with his life, and now all of a sudden, UT Crew are forced to win a bunch of one-on-ones if they want to still try to make this play over to A happen.
Prolude just finesses back over towards Curve. Knew that there was one more player located over there. Communication must be at an all-time high here for Subliners Academy, but UT Crew still committed towards this A site. You can see Hamza just knows that something's fishy over here. They're laying prone, so it's going to be a while until they know that Easy's coming up behind them, if not ever at all. Oh, boo.
And this is the only play available for UT Crew once you lose that position over through driveway. So they have to push through visitor center. Saints try to stay alive and will be able to, who will actually be on that CE's cross, but he actually can't finish the elimination. The big question is there even going to be time for him to get to the bomb and plant? Because Prolude is technically still floating around this B site. Not a lot of time.
He's going to hop the wall.
He's not going to get here in time. But the problem is Prolude needs to check this, and as he does, he sees players cross, but he stays alive. So the little bit of deterrence of the Subliners Academy taking over the middle of the map and forcing UT Crew to wrap around is good enough by just winning off the clock itself.
Yeah, it's so scary, too. If you are in that 2v1, you can't just commit towards the bomb plan either, not knowing whether or not Prolude did go up top piano, top purple, whatever you want to call it. Maybe they're back garage over by the Baywalk. It's just so many different corners that you could potentially be, because the last given information was that Phantoms got finessed over inside that main doorway by Curve. So nice by Prolude to stay alive. Subliners will take that 1-round lead. It's really tough to be able to push that A lane. Again, no snipers, no smokes. Try to take advantage of the first round, no trophy systems, but those will be in effect here. What kind of information can you find with your Semtexes and your flashes? Subliners Academy on the offense, though, looking for that slow, methodical push potentially towards A. Maniac will be on that party boat, though, Shift, and they'll have a nice angle towards TP.
And they'll use that angle for first blood. That's the bomb that's also down with that play. So this is going to be a very difficult bounce back round here for the Subliners Academy. But Hamza, he at least collects the bomb. That's step 1 down. Now you go back over towards Saints' direction. You have to feel like for the Subliners Academy, there's no way they're going to go A, not with Major Maniac safely put onto that catamaran boat.
So now you got to rotate. It's more than enough time to be able to make this rotation happen, but UT Crew might just have this telegraphed, especially with Phantoms over by the visitor building. They will see Hamza cross. So that's all the information UT Crew could potentially need to know that it's going to come towards the B site, but 25 seconds remain. Subliners got to make a play.
Well, here's their move. 3-0 is Yeez. He's up top. He's been tagged. But this timing, he sees Hamza in a corner. No, he does not win the gunfight, but Hamza still falls. But Prolude in a 1v3 situation does not have an angle to get to this bomb site, and he's also going to run out of time.
He has 3 kills as well, so you know that they're just going to try everything possible to keep their life. No way that they can get those 3 kills, because it could come a question down the road. A few rounds might be looking at potential streaks. It's quite the long road to go, but this was Rex POV. Saw from the opposite side of top purple. Double challenge was quite alarming. But being able to at least get that trade meant that you could not commit towards that B site, knowing that Rex was inside of Laundry. So tied it up here. both defensive rounds really coming down towards that first blood and just exhausting the clock. As the Miami special, if I've ever heard one. I'm going to coin that pizza now, Shift. You can't have it.
I love that.
UT Crew not going to move back towards A. Very AR dependent. Again, you want these shots to be able to shake Hamza out from that window. If not being able to get the move, that first blood would be great, but you want the space to move across that beach.
Yeah, you can even see they're throwing a lot of attention. I was about to say, Proloot very regularly, when it comes to an NYSL Academy defense, will pull out a Krig and sit in that corner right between the two hotel buildings, lingering on the B side of middle. And it looks like UT Crew are very aware of that. Everybody coming out of that poolside exit just to try to make sure he does not have a free angle. But the Subliners Academy team will move their way over in pieces to get onto A. First blood good, though, for Rex. Clean shots on the Hamza. Trophy to make sure that the bomb plant stays safe. Now the retake, which is looking to be from the middle of the map, is going to be hard-pressed in what will be a 2v4 as Saints falls. Although, Proloot again, he started to sneak through. Not this time, friend. UT Crew turns, deals with them, and it all comes down to Saints for a, Spart for a 1v4. Nowhere for him to go. That's a beautiful awareness round for UT Crew, as if they already knew what Subliners are going to throw at them.
Yeah, and again, it's that slow push across the beach. You throw those opening shots towards Hamza, that then creates two different effects, right? You go ahead and give up that main window, and then that also calls for Spart to give up towards that middle lane that looks directly at curve where Proloot was moving towards. Now you're doubled up inside the visitors building. While all that rotation was happening, UT Crew can then move up. Saw where Major Maniac was inside the boat, also sniffing out the flank, like you highlighted. That is a wonderful take of AS and D if I've ever seen it for UT Crew. But Subliners Academy, they've had enough. How about a 4-player aggressive hit towards B?
Well, it's going to be read by Rex. It's just, can he get away? The answer this time, no. He's very aware he needs to play his life up top because the retake is largely going to have to be from the deep side of the back alley. Bomb's going to be planted immediately. Major Maniac wants to make sure the street is clear before he crosses, rather. And as Phantoms works his way through the deep alley, this should be pretty aware that, okay, it's a 4-man stack over to the pier. And I don't know what you do here besides just completely take over. It's the only way you're going to retake this. Phantoms, first one up. Major Maniac on the flank. Yeez also trying to help. There will be at least one trade, but there's just not a lot of numbers. Yeez now for the 1v4. Nowhere for him to go. Subliners Academy bounce back and tie things at 2.
And you know what's interesting? While we were flipping across but all the different POVs for UT Crew there, Shift, is that I saw a lot of semtexes, I saw a lot of flashes, not even really the chance to check in over those corners, knowing that all 4 players were alive and in fact over by that pier. Oh, it comes to a scary situation, you are giving up your positioning, but still a little extra edge as far as the challenge is concerned. Not a bad take. Still knotted up going in towards round number 5. UT Crew had a very successful A hit. Will they take a page out of Subliners Academy, head over towards B? It seems that way. Major Maniac's going to be that lone player. They love the beach.
They really do.
Yeah.
Also seeing on the side of your screen there, TMNT and Triumph. And a good one on Search and Destroy Moscow. Currently 4-3 there. But this approach for UT Crew, you kind of wonder what is going to be the first bit of information that they need to execute, because you're not going to see much from Major Maniac's POV. He does see one player deep, but that's not going to be enough for them to sit there and say, okay, go tall. And it's actually going to be a rotation right back through Piano. They do lock down Spart, and now Major Maniac will rotate over to make sure that this hit for the UT Crew will be with all 4 numbers.
Yeah, you saw immediately first blood happen over by Piano, and then all the players over towards A start rotating, but you got to look both ways before you cross the street. Major Maniac knows that from that previous defense, and he'll show you why on the offensive side. Pro left alive at a 1v3. Gotta imagine this round is all but done and dusted unless Prolo can find an exit kill from the bomb plant. No, just goes for the challenge by Garage. It's gonna be UT Crew gonna be able to take that offensive round. 3-2.
Yeah, very back and forth affair here. We've seen really kind of both teams understanding each other to some extent. A couple of rounds where the Subliners are able to find a lot of success kind of rushing to the middle of the map defensively. Other rounds, UT Crew very aware that the Subliners Academy loves to play through the middle of the map. Shutting down any potential plays for that to happen. So the tug of war continues. We go into round number 6. So far, great performance from Yeast, 6-2. And on the other side, someone needs to help Prolud. Hamza and Spart still empty from kills. Saints doing all right. But that 0-4 and 0-5 are going to have to change if the Subliners Academy want to try to find a way to keep this game even and eventually get to a position where they can actually win this map.
Well, this worked last time, didn't it, Shift? Subliners Academy, 4 players over towards the garage. Nobody looking here immediately. They're actually committing towards a big play over towards top purple. Can Prelude find this first blood? Has some help behind them, but it's actually Rex and Yeez that walk out on top.
One trade for Hamza, and they're not going to bother trying to chase down Rex, so now you have to deal with the flank, of which Major Maniac, who has a sub, when talk about him making adjustments, he's coming up quickly, doesn't get the gunfight win versus Prelude. Rex looking for the trade, actually sees Hamza instead of Prelude, so both players are now tagged up for the Subliners Academy. And with that in mind, they're also a little bit stuck here in the parking garage, knowing that they've got a player up top and one more in the deep alley. They'll back out. Plenty of time to rotate to be, pardon me, to go to A if they want to.
Oh, Rex checks it. The most perfect time. Finds Prelude, bottom piano. Hamza is just going to scoop it. Potentially try to cut it back across. It would be running in towards Phantom's LOS. They understand that. Just going to turn back around, see if they can find Rex.
He was hoping that he was going to force somebody to rotate over, but UT Crew, much more disciplined than that. Comes on down, tries to get the plant off. And Phantoms isn't going to fully check. He doesn't realize he's already on, so the bomb will be planted. But Rex moving quickly through the parking garage, able to find him before the exit could come through. So UT Crew, a couple rounds in a row, find themselves up 4-2, and Rex on 4 kills with this defuse. We'll at least throw in some consideration for potential streaks depending on how this next round goes.
Yeah, you even have that 2-round buffer. I feel like it doesn't really get talked about as much in Search and Destroy, that when you do have that round buffer or two, that you can end up throwing away the round if you are the last player alive on, say, 4 or 5 straight with the bomb plant or defuse, depending on which side you're talking about, to play for streaks in the long hole, because they are quite potent on either side here for Miami. Obviously, you have more coverage over here by the parking garage, but out in the open, over by the visitor center, yeah, that's free game. We'll have to see if that could potentially be a strategy, but both Rex and Yeez having a great game here. Can't believe that they were able to turn around both top purple, turn around, see 3 players down low, were able to take down the lot of them. Definitely want that playback if you are Subliners Academy, but it's going to have to be a defensive round for them to start finding their strides. You can see Prelude now not getting wildly aggressive. They have not been able to find success over by Curve time and time again. This gives UT Crew the opportunity to push over towards A. The difference is that Hamza, he's not up top visitor building shift. He's actually over by the party boat.
Rex is going to be the first one to walk into his line of sight potentially here. Could just come down to sheer timing. I don't think Hamza actually saw him with that little jump peek. See Phantoms and Rex. Ah, they're going to know. Hamza, oh boy, he's got no help anywhere nearby. See, that's trying to change. Spartan Saints over through B have already pushed through. They're trying to get here to hopefully watch a bit of a cross. And you've got Prelude who's trying to keep him safe from up top, but Hamza still wins the first gunfight. But meanwhile, on the flank, things get leveled out to a 3v3. UT Crew need to make a decision on what they want to do from this point out with only 30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, so trying to peek out wide, more than enough time for Subliners to rotate all the way through. And the bomb being carried by Yeezy, you got to try to rotate over towards B. This is your commitment for the site. Phantoms was waiting for exit frags, but Saints was bottom piano, just ready for the push through. 14 seconds remaining for Yeezy to try to make a play. Shots were shaky, but you're still going to be able to get the kill. I don't even know if you're going to be able to get here in time to be able to plant this bomb. Not with Prelude, just so close. The answer's no.
Answer is no. Oh, man.
That's a good bounce back, though, for Subliners Academy. Given all of the rounds that the UT Crew were really starting to string together, they had a good grasp on shutting down the aggression for Subliners Academy. And I highlighted at the beginning of that round that Prelude can't get aggressive towards the curve anymore. So you try to get a little bit more creative. That creativity came through with Hamza over by that boat. And it seemed pretty scary at first. The trophy system wasn't down in time. I thought the Semsex was going to clear their life, but got to be able to swing that wide and quickly at that. Otherwise, the rotation like Subliners Academy were able to showcase comes through. Now, what can they do on their offense? It almost looks a pretty similar setup the way the UT Crew were set up on their last 3 players trying to hit towards A.
Got round 11 going on between Triumph and TMNT. In the picture-in-picture, Exotic is actually running away with that game. He's 13-7, doing everything in his power to make sure Triumph can find a way to take that round. And Triumph is on offense, but for the Subliners Academy, getting the bomb planted, Prelude stays alive, if only just barely in this 3v3. UT Crew working for a retake from Visitor Center. You've got Rex from behind on the curve, and he may have snuck through a little bit further than anyone from the Subliners Academy may have recognized. Spart doesn't have an angle on him, so he's got to back up. And meanwhile, UT Crew from the front, they'll find one elimination. Sliding away is Yeez. Rex finds the second. Oh boy, no way this has happened.
Oh, it's a scramble of Crossfire.
A really good opportunity for the NYSL Academy to watch this from behind. Now it just comes down to, is there time? But Spart clutches up with 2. Rex no time to get there, so Spart saves the day to tie us at 4.
Yeah, it's a scramble of Crossfire there. Shift, you saw it immediately. Rex was that player over by Tiki that was on a pretty immediate flank. Crossfire and the shots were all the better. Obviously, when you're thinking about high ground, I don't care how many times you've seen Star Wars Episode 3, it still happens here in COD Cold War. Already looking down at the sand beaches as well, and as we quickly hop on board here at the end of round 11 between TMNT and Triumph. Glory just trying to stay left alive. Royalty for the retake. Triumph worked their way back in towards the site. Exotic at 13-8. Triumph were able to take the search and destroy, and they'll tie that up 1 apiece in the series.
Big bounce back there for Triumph overall. So now we get into round number 9. Dylan is 10-3 for UT Crew. And we said that for the Subliners Academy, they needed to step up for Hamza and Spart. They have, but maybe not in this round. As the first 2 kills are good for UT Crew. Aggression from NYSL once more stuffed. And Saints is going to have to go absolutely massive from this position, top piano. Sees one. Takes the shot. Doesn't even check to see if there's anyone on the bomb itself. It's going to have to be a 1v4. Maybe a bit of timing here, but no, it's being watched from behind. UT Crew, 5-4 up. 1 round away from tying up the series here as well.
Yeah, Subliners answered back with the string of rounds of 2 of their own, and this immediately happens. They tried just to be able to take terrain immediately through the middle of the map. It just seems every single time that Subliners are trying to work through the streets, Major Maniac has the angle from curve. Now that Prelude hasn't been pushing that angle, that's a feasting ground if you are holding a Craig 6 in your hands. You can see 6-4 now for Maniac. It's a 10-3. It's just having themselves a whale of a time. It's going to have to be an offensive round win for Subliners Academy to push it towards a round 11. Spark is actually over towards B. He's going to throw a Semtex or 2. Catches the connection. They're going to need a couple shots on the exit. Gets away with their life, and that's big because UT Crew, I don't know if they actually saw all of the players for Subliners work their way towards A. You would think that it had to come down to Phantoms to stop this from happening.
Well, it's Major Maniac on the flank as well. I was about to say, he's just underneath once more. Spart this time not going to bother with trying to watch his back. He just dives out the balcony. He's able to get the trade. Now Saints catches Phantoms. No problem there. Bomb also planted. But the rest of UT Crew working from the flank. Maybe an opportunity to try to work off some timings. But look at the spread. 2 players in Visitor Center for NYSL. The third over by Tiki. Pro looking to call it out so Spart can stay safe. He'll turn his attention over. He's around the corner. No chance whatsoever. Subliners Academy will tie things up. So round 11 off the second string that we're looking into. Round 11 here as well.
Spart causing a ruckus over at B. Again, I almost would love to go back if I could ever get immediate players' POVs. See if they saw all of Subliners working their way across A. Otherwise, they might have committed more players towards the rotation. 3 of them dedicated over towards B off of that Semtex connection from Spart. And there was a scramble all over the place. So now Subliners Academy, round 11 on offense. Goes back to what worked first for offense. 4 players towards B.
Very common position for both Rex and Yeez, but this time they're going to have a little bit of help from Phantoms, who's going to play the long side, but Hamza gets an angle onto Rex. Saints now up top. Good shots on Yeez. Wants to take the gunfight. Has him down to 1 health and will find elimination. But Phantoms, who rotated in, keeps things relatively neutral as he was able to pick up 1 on the approach. That was the bomb carrier as well, so a little bit of time to allow Major Maniac to rotate over. 2v3 situation. And NYSL want to stay passive on this. If maybe even just to insert a little bit of second guessing on the behalf of UT Crew and Phantoms. 3 in a row. Major Maniac will find the 4th. And in a 2v3 situation, UT Crew win the round 11 to tie things up in the series.
Off of a stellar execute coming out of Garage, gets blown open by this play here. Phantom says double chow. That's fine. I'll recorrect a little bit to the right. A little bit of do-si-do. How about a nice little 2-piece? That just is a round that you just cannot let happen, Shift. Again, a fantastic execute. You play back in your heads of your Subliners Academy. What went wrong from the previous time that we attempted towards this Garage push? Well, it was Rex and Yeez up in top purple. So now you check isolate where those different angles could be. Like you were talking about, very familiar terrain for them. You just had to worry about Phantoms over by the dumpster. When it came down to the challenge, absolutely obliterates those two players. And that's one of those very miraculous plays that you cannot always account for, but UT crew are able to tie up the series one apiece regardless.
Got ourselves a good one on deck. We'll take a look at the map series as far as where exactly we still will need to go. We mentioned the Checkmate control will be coming up next. We have guaranteed ourselves a raid hard point on top of that. The fifth map, if we need to get that far, would be the Moscow Search and Destroy. So that will be waiting in the wings for us. But, you know, you talk about Checkmate control. I think one of the things that we've noticed a lot about the Subliners Academy roster, you know, with before this most recent iteration of it, they were very fast, very lightning quick, mostly because they had to be, because you had both Spart and Hydra that were essentially trying to figure out how to run an AR. Now you've got the ability to trust that Glowfrosty, or Hamza now his name change, will be able to lock down those lanes, let Spart play a little bit more loose and liberally, and that means that the SMGs are going to get a little bit of extra help up front.
And we saw that working quite well in the Checkmate hardpoint, right? The opening break off inside the plane where it was quite emphatic, right? Where we just Hamza watching over towards one of the very open lanes that Checkmate, in all of its nature, does offer throughout the entirety of it. But even still, you got to think again, to a point that I was bringing up at the end of that hard point, is that now you're working with a very disciplined Spart, right? That they know whether or not to go help out for the AR, with Hamza playing those more open lanes to then open up the avenue for Saints and Prelude. Or maybe they could just get wildly aggressive, the same thing that we talked about when we do bring up time and time again the OG Subliners Academy roster way back in stage number 1. That was their profile. That was their narrative. They tried it in stage number 2 with 3 SMGs. It didn't work out, but a 2-2 setup in the hands of Spart with that Craig 6 almost feels like in some of those engagements it might as well be a sub.
Also taking a look at what's happening on the mainstream. Again, you can find that at youtube.com/COD Challengers. Built by Gamers find themselves up 2-1 over Easter at the moment. And again, Easter was that second place runner-up from stage number 2. But that said, they did not have the greatest showing when it came to the cup, most recently about 2 weekends ago. So maybe some corrections need to go on over there, pending that Built by Gamers can close that out. I believe they're going to a hard point on Moscow for map number 4. And that means that it will, as we continue to move forward, we'll be taking a look to see what happens with these 1-1 ties that we currently have underway for us. Well, we're still waiting on both lobbies to essentially get going at the moment. So with that in mind, we'll just step away just for a small break, make sure everything's all right on our end, and then we'll come back for map number 3, the Checkmate control with Subliners Academy and UT Group right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're jumping on into the control. The New York Subliners Academy going up against UT Crew, and also simultaneously TMNT versus Triumph is ongoing. So we'll be able to kind of go back and forth between those as we move forward into the control, as they're literally happening simultaneously. So getting into these, again, both matches, no matter which one we're watching, they're both tied up 1-1. So a very important control on the docket for us. This one here for the Checkmate, we've talked largely about how Hamza, now that we've got a main AR for the Subliners Academy, you feel like that's going to make everyone feel a little bit more loose and a little bit more comfortable.
And again, it's not to say that Subliners Academy, when they didn't have a quote-unquote mainstay main AR, that they were doing horrible by any means. It just helps out for the roles and what we saw continuously throughout the day. But off the rip, that opening break-in control is all the more important when UT Crew stand a little bit more tall. Saints, though, hitting it from the flank, is going to try to at least make their presence felt. Will be snuffed out, but UT Crew are now looking for spawn kills.
Yeah, this is not a position you want UT Crew to be in for long, and these are decent exchanges, which will allow the Subliners Academy to work their way out and then eventually, hopefully, into a zone. He's recognizing that he's the next one to be threatened, almost taken down through the windows. That would have been a huge pickup. Rex there for help, and it comes in the nick of time. But Spart able to find a tradeaway Semtex will at least allow for a moment Hamza to be up top into the plane. That's shut down, and UT Crew's first defense, very solid, very sound. And only 25 seconds for the Subliners Academy to make a move.
And you got to think that it's going to come down to one player to make a heroic move, maybe find a nice little 2-piece, 3-piece to move their way towards the zone, stop that clock. But every single time the UT Crew get pushed back, they are always recycling a player out for these spawn kills.
He's up top, falls. Clock will stall, 7 seconds, tons of lives to play with. So they're going to have to find a way to extend this clock. And Prolute was just onto the B zone to allow enough time for Spart to actually focus over towards Zay, but he will drop next one in. Saints also meets the same fate. Prolute not sure where to shoot, taken away. UT Crew will hold 5 life advantage, and beyond that, barely even any feet touched zones, let alone segments being completed.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure play of the game was about to be Phantoms there towards the end. A main AR in the belly of the plane, just finessing around these wings. In a very dire Subliners Academy trying to touch the clock yet. That's a lot of free angles. We're able to at least throw a lot of team shots over towards that A Street to help out Major Maniac and over towards that B site as well, as we got a little picture-in-picture for you all as well in between TMNT versus Triumph. TMNT were able to take the first round, but over towards the offense, Triumph are trying to go to even things up. They're on raid for our main match, though. Subliners Academy would love to answer defense for defense, but if UT Crew can sneak by an offense with this opening break, well, they'd be feeling pretty darn skippy.
Decent trades. That should allow it. Yeah, with this elimination from Rex, this is definitely a chance to not just get on to one zone. They could technically be putting pressure onto both, but it will be Rex sliding over to stack the A zone overall. Phantoms is the one watching the bottom B wing, which is where the New York Subliners Academy are going to try to clear first. Now it just comes down to the question of how, and really largely if, you even want to contest this A zone. Simply do the progress that's being made. Prolute try to come forward. It's not going to be convincing enough. The A zone will go through to the UT Crew, who will exit with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play for the B zone with a 2-life lead.
The 2-life lead is pretty important as well, especially because you got Ease still on this A Street. Hamza trying to get the trade, would love to find it, is able to do so. Now a little breath of fresh air. You would assume the Subliners Academy finally won a break or a kill feed, you would think, but Rex right off the respawn with a 74U is able to help out Phantoms towards the plane as well, and another opportunity presents itself to get more map coverage.
Prolute tagged up heavy, trying to play his life. UT Crew still working their way across. Number 6 up top, Major Maniac, able to find one elimination. Prolute challenge down low, dealt with. That's going to allow an opportunity for UT Crew to, again, pause the clock and maybe even make some progress over on to B. The first tick is pretty darn close to being through, but Yeez instead wants to value his life, backs away. Rex here to help. First tick of progress should be good. But the Subliners have plane control, working their way around the back, trying to suffocate this play, and boy, will they. First couple of kills are good. The third one will also be there. It's a full cleanup for Subliners
Like
Academy.
a serpent, just completely surrounded it, strangled it. One tick of progress is what UT Crew are going to walk away with. Lives are even. 1 minute left on the board, and Spart trying to keep their life while also playing these angles, doing a great job at that. UT Crew trying to send one player over towards the A lane. It's going to be Yeez, 10 and 7 for them. Saints trying to at least find the trade. Was able to find at least one, but Major Maniac still has the spacing towards that A Street to help out Rex, who's trying to stop the clock.
keep your eye on Major Maniac again, playing a long route. Subliners Academy seem to know that he's in this position, and yeah, they sure do. Prolute finds the kill. So now numbers prevail for the Subliners. 10 playing up against 10 at the moment. Saints, though, not able to double down. The trade will be there from Prolute's POVs. So again, our yellow arrows all over the bottom side of the map, and even more so into the plane as Prolute finds his third in a row. 2 HP, gets away with his life. Time becoming a problem for UT Crew. 9 playing up against 7, 23 seconds on the clock. Saints, though, falling maybe means that UT Crew have one chance to potentially get over and actually touch this zone.
You got to get these players out from the plane. Rex, you can see them throwing some consideration towards it. Very tough to be able to take that B zone without getting the plane. Prolute at least is able to find a trade. UT Crew trying to work their way back towards the zone. Major Maniac would have to make a heroic play. Does find one. Just has to stay alive for the rest of the time being. There's the second, though. Third from behind. Saints will take them out. UT Crew's clock will be exhausted. Subliners answer back defense for defense.
It's a big win up top of the plane. Rex had the jump on him. Yeah, 2 players that are up there. I think it was Spartan Saints that maybe that were in that position. Maybe it was Prolute. I don't really remember fully who the second player was. But regardless, that is a gunfight that you thought Rex was going to grab. He saw the weapon first and foremost, but still loses it. That really, in my mind, is what secures the round for the Subliners Academy. The lives are getting relatively even, but holding on to that plane pressure, making sure you can still play from the wing, allow them a chance to retake on that last UT Crew member of Major Maniac onto the point itself. So tied up 1-1, a close one. Also going on currently, TMNT triumph in their third round. That's tied up 1-1 with what looks to be TMNT about ready to threaten to capture this third tick of progress on the B, but the retake is good right now from Triumph, at least initially. Mochilla and co will start to make their way forward, so it's going to have to be a special play for Triumph to lock down that third tick. And the lives are getting a little bit dire as well. 12 playing up against 8 there, and with these eliminations that you're kind of seeing, it will be TMNT taking the second offense.
You see the tale of 2 different natures, right? 2 different controls, I should say. Defense for defense here on Checkmate, offense for offense there on Raid. As we immediately hop back in board, Subliners Academy, very different from their previous offense shift. They win the opening break-off. They're getting the A streak controlled. Saints, it's going to get traded on out. Great coverage by Hamza on this A lane. It's going to be able to secure the second tick for their team, and UT Crew is going to have to give it up. Don't want to give up more lives and just set up to defend the B zone.
He's good timing onto Prolute. That'll allow them a chance to fight for the plane. Saints still alive. Another big elimination, but no chance he responds to easy from behind. But you still have Hamza, who's, honestly speaking, causing a havoc. Over through the UT Crew spawn just by playing around the backside of the exit stairs to the AR, not going to get a second elimination. Even trades as we get a pinstripe kill feed for time, and with 1:40 to play, it's the NYSL Academy that has the life lead at 5.
And you're okay to not even touch the zone here, right? You got 1:35 left on the board. You're whittling down all of the lives remaining for UT Crew. Prolute playing an angle outside of server. We'll get quite literally pounced on by Rex over on the opposite side of wood, but now you're going to start threatening that zone. First tick of progress will be secured. Might as well be the second convincing kill beat for Subliners Academy. You got 2 to almost 3 players stacking the zone.
Got to find a way to retake immediately if you're UT Crew. Second tick of progress is going to be good. Who's going to make the play? Someone's got to go. Saints up top. Good for 1. Spart a couple more down low. Last player to contest is going to be, well, nobody apparently. As the kill comes through, and with the stack, Subliners Academy will take the first offense here on Checkmate and break this defense for defense draw as they go up 2-1.
Yeah, so now you got to win an offense if you are UT Crew to send it to a round number 5, but really tough to do with the conviction that we saw off the opening break off there for Subliners Academy. It is quite literally a flip of a switch for Subliners Academy, given off of the few rounds ago for UT Crew's first offense. How did they lose that? Playing control. What was their mid-map adaptation shift? Never give up playing control. They're always cycling 1, 2, sometimes if not 3 players, depending on the time of the round, to get that plane in their favor. I cannot stress it enough, especially for Checkmate control. Playing control, playing control, playing control. And Subliners Academy through the previous 2.5 rounds are practicing that wonderfully.
And Spart on a 4 spree. Potential for streaks to really lock this one up for Subliners Academy. Now, granted, really I shouldn't say that because streaks in this map don't often mean kills. Saints and Hamza, double Semtex will clear out the plane. UT Crew forced to essentially survive as long as humanly possible over towards A. And a good first kill for Major Maniac, but Saints, he'll find himself the double down. 1 tick of progress confirmed, but 4 in a row for Saints. Puts him in a great spot. Next contestant up is Yeez. He'll fall. The trade will eventually be there, but the damage had already been done as the Subliners Academy clear off that A zone and now look to repossess the plane.
Yeah, UT Crew already had speed problems enough as it is, and now you're facing against hesitation because now you're not sure what timing you got to go against for Subliners Academy because they are finding a lot of it. You see Saints now at 26 and 15, and Phantom's trying to keep their head on a swivel inside of the plane, not knowing which staircase or wing they got to defend first and foremost because the rest of their team just struggling to work out in their spawn. Yeez is going to be the next player to try to threaten the A lane. Spark will cut them down. Prolude is also able to find a nice timing to cut down Major Maniac to even try to get inside the plane. And we're down to 30 seconds with a single tick of progress. Speaking for UT Crew on a must-win offensive round.
Not looking good for them, that's for sure.
No, it's not.
Saints just throwing out shots, able to keep his life as he backs away. Prolude picking up the A lane. We'll find eliminations, and this one's looking done and dusted. Hamza with a couple, just making sure that is indeed going to be the case. Prolude, another elimination. Time ticking away. Nobody from UT Crew in a position to touch without having to go through a number of Subliners members. One of them being Smart finds himself a double with the pistol, and Subliners Academy take the control quickly over to TMNT versus Triumph. A 2v2 situation in the end. Mochilla doubling up, but getting traded. A 1v1. Parasite v Royalty. And there has to be a play on the B zone with 8 seconds to play. Here comes the contest. Parasite checks the wrong direction. I mean, what? You know he touches the zone. He's not going to touch it from the pool. And Triumph, we're going to go to a round 5 versus TMNT.
Oh, no. I don't even think you can't even contest it from the pool. You got to.
No, you cannot.
You got to get over towards the long chair there, Haggy. Oh, man. That is a round. That is a 1v1 that you're probably going to lose sleep over, but that was a must-needed offensive round win for Triumph, all resting on the shoulders of Royalty, ending on a 3 spree, sending it towards a round number 5, where it will be Triumph for another offense. TMNT, say what you will, Mochilla's still running this up for these guys, right? I mean, 23 and 24, not looking too bad for array control.
No, that's actually a massive shout. I mean, that's the one thing we were talking about. Even Steve himself was saying, dude, just don't flame me when we were going through the quals. Like, it's my first tournament really running this sub fully. Yeah, he's definitely picked up.
Whoa. See, Exotic. Gonna fall off the map.
Nope.
Yep.
It'll be all right. First tick of progress is good. Glory trying to contest, but I mean, this is chaos right now for TMNT. They're trying to play flanks. They're trying to play the middle of the map. None of the kills are really coming their way. Parasite found a handful, but you've got Royalty on 4. He's going to move his way through the basketball court and run right into Glory. This is chaos on all fronts for both sides, really.
Yeah, and you got to really tip your hat if you are a TMNT fan, that Haggy was able to find an immediate flank. Not a lot of pushback, maybe one player over towards bedroom, and now they're still existing in back garage. Exotic will finally get Parasite out from their spawn, but still thriving within that chaos. Our TMNT just playing for the kills. It's Triumph that are able to work their way towards ring, and you're finding kills over towards back laundry. So that'll be the second tick of progress over towards A completely given up. The entire zone will actually be conceded if you are TMNT. Just set up towards the B zone. Lives are now even, so you can't get too wildly aggressive. You got to just zone away, Triumph, to not let them string together these zones.
And Exotic is trying to win kitchen. Trying to get back to help Jordan General as much as humanly possible. Nobody knows that Exotic is in the back, so he finds one elimination. He turns around, fakes down Glory. Parasite with only 1 trade. Numbers will prevail for Triumph in the middle of the map, but Llama God off the respawn right in front of basketball. Deals with the pressure, alleviates it, and a chance for TMNT to retake the middle of the map.
Gonna come down towards this flank, and you can see Mayhem still alive on a 4 spree. Would love to play 4 streaks. How influential would those be to try to take this B zone? But it's Mouch with a sub. It's gonna go for the re-challenge. Yeah, the team kill was forced, but the re-challenge was absolutely sublime. 27-26 on a 4 spree is now looking for some spawn kills. Triumph with a minute left. They're actually gonna take this opportunity to push all the way past ring, past the old zone of A, around Laundry, and it's Parasite that has his periscope.
He's gotta lock this space down. Royalty's just throwing shoulders. Doesn't like the look of that whatsoever. Even trying to get a Semtex over the top. Trophy keeps that safe. Mochilla mid-map. He's got Glory to his left. Still Parasite watching the back. 38 seconds remaining. Relatively even lives. But Triumph have cleared off the bedroom. Maybe an opportunity for them to start to flood on through. they got maybe 2 decent looks at this zone overall, and they're sending Royalty over to B, or to A rather, long route. He's gonna have to come back to this play quickly because there is no pressure whatsoever for Triumph to move their way forward. Royalty's only good for 1 elimination. Jordan General's headed the same route through pillars. Who's gonna touch the zone? Mayhem's trying to swim his way up the Tiki, but Mochilla's waiting for him, finds that elimination, and now finally Triumph get there, but it's way too late.
It is just way too late. It's too far gone. TMNT are going to claim the control 3-2 on that defense. That one went offense for offense until that very last round. Again, a tails to 2 control of what we saw. Whoever wins the first defense on Raid, probably going to be able to walk away with that control, at least to the narrative that control map typically holds. But you got to go back to that very, very last moment, right? You're down to just sub 30 seconds. It is a Hail Mary play, right? You want middle of the map. You want that kitchen in money window, right? If you're able to get that position for an AR, you can more than less guarantee yourself first tick, second tick, if not a better chance of completely securing the B zone. But when you have that much time that's left in the clock, you can't just dedicate the push all the way through driveway, through spiral, back to the middle. It was a beautiful pinch, but you were unable to at least find the bait and switch for those 2 kills that were necessary to make that play happen. With all that clock being exhausted, numbers at a disadvantage towards that B zone, it's just was not the right time for that play.
Look, I can appreciate trying to make a play through Ardor driveway with that much time left if you commit more than 1 player of doing it. Like,
sure,
that solo long route's not going to be it. You know, if you're going to try to play a retake of that B zone from the middle of the map or around the back, it's got to be with numbers so you can get through those gunfights quickly. And then you keep 1 player top bedroom to make sure that no one actually peeks you through the open stairs. But I don't know. That's some strangeness right there, to be sure. So maybe a bit of a misstep there for Triumph. They do find themselves now down to TMNT. And I'm glad that you mentioned the story about Moch because, hey, we saw him during the qualifier, struggled a bit. Parasite was fighting for his life to get qualified. But now that they're here, they got a little bit more time to work through scrims. Looks like Steve's really picked up the sub pretty nicely. So maybe an opportunity for TMNT to win a match that largely, if you're going to try to get away from the bottom 2 of relegation and try to fight for playoffs, this is the matchup you have to win. This is another qualifier team that you're playing up against. You need to win this one. So that's going to be a big step in the right direction for them to be up 2-1. But here, Subliners Academy find themselves up now 2-1. I'm sure they're kicking themselves about that round 11, which looked really good for them for a time. They could have been a 3-0, but we exist and we move on forward to a Raid hardpoint for map number 4.
Yeah, Raid Hardpoint will end up seeing another interesting showcasing for Subliners Academy. Again, this was a pretty big pick for them, even when they were still playing with Hydra, again, because of that narrative of being very fast-paced. Even to go back to when the QBZ was still being played, sightless QBZ was almost infamous for Sparta in their hands here. So what's that role going to look like for them? You can kind of cross-reference for Checkmate Hardpoint and what they were able to do, being able to work their way through the middle of the map and those open angles countless times. Now that is all the more easier when you are looking at Raid Hardpoint, given how the flow of the map works through the middle of the map when you are rotating from 2 all the way to 3 from cross map all the way from each hill. It all comes through the middle of the map in those longer lines of sight of where Hamza and Spart might be able to absolutely flourish. And then where Saints and Prolute coming off of that checkmate control, if they continue to find these angles and not get immediate pushback from any member of UT crew, they're going to continue to flank you. They're probably going to continue to find those 2 pieces.
So other small update on the mainstream. Easter does bounce back in their map 4. So they're going into a map 5 versus Built by Gamers. That'll be played on Raid as we get our lovely drive-by of Raid of our own right here for the hardpoint. And it's just going to be interesting, I think, to see if the Subliners can, again, just kind of use this extra main AR player to really lock things up. A little bit of assistance off of a self-teammate from Yeez to make sure he was weakened. So even though UT crew find a couple of seconds, they do get fully wiped. A bit surprised to see the spawns flip, though, off of that wipe, but Subliners Academy will read it, and they turn right around to find another flurry of kills.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised as well, right? You're in control of P1, barely past Laundry, but hey, spawns will flip, and I guess that's a job well done for Subliners Academy. Obviously wanted to hold those spawns, and maybe till about right now before trying to flip them out. They will try to read them, now play towards the favored side of Raid. First 19 seconds for them. Still trying to keep P1 scrappy. Now they're trying to read the hit through the middle of the map. So another isolated 1v1 inside of the hill. Nice trade from Major Maniac. But now they got to keep their life inside a kitchen while the reinforcements work across the map.
Well, Major Maniac is in a position to open up some space. Yeez thought he had the gunfight won. will not be the case. So even though it gets traded, you might be thinking, oh, so what? It's just traded. But that's an extra number that UT Crew do not have as a part of this hold from the front. Saints able to work around through money for one. Smart also working his way in. But Yeez, oh, not going to finish the second gunfight again. Little bamboozled off the slide, I imagine, but regardless, another gunfight that you thought Yeez was going to take away, but it's the Subliners at the proximal spawns, getting into the hard point and finding a way to control.
UT Crew got a break from the front. Would really love to be able to fight for the scrap time. Otherwise, we're looking at almost deja vu of the beginning of Checkmate hardpoint. Just 15 seconds between that and the 0 that UT Crew started on the opening hardpoint. But Subliners Academy, this is what I was afraid of. They're starting to find the spacing, and that means an open opportunity for there's SMGs to really start finessing through these inner angles of the map. That causes a spawn out where ProLoot was currently located at. So now Rex has to keep their life inside of weights. The rest of their members work their way all the way across from P2.
He needs to win these couple of gunfights in front of him. He's going to have help with the rest of the UT Crew members. They try to flood their way in. Saints, decent damage, pushes one back, but Rex and Major Maniac work their way in, find eliminations, wipe the hill, and will be the first team to plant themselves into the garage. But the Subliners spawning near will have a chance to try to battle back and retake this on their first attempt. Saints good for one elimination. Major Maniac trying to rotate over. Nobody's watching. Bedroom, hello? Rex turning around, trying to deal with it, but easy in the hard point, just gets overwhelmed. The one lane that nobody's watching is the one lane that the Subliners Academy used to break right back in at the 30-second mark.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here, I'm starting to scratch my head, really, because normally you would have an AR flex, anybody really playing on the back of AC to watch that exact angle where you just got broken from. So now, about double the score. Do Subliners Academy hold over UT Crew. Again, cross-map we go from 3 to 4. We're number 7, ProLoot is doing a great job of just trying to block spawns. You see where Yeez spawn all the way over by P3. They're not going to try to contest it at all for scrap time. They got to come help out Rex because UT Crew would absolutely love to have a solid 40 on P4.
UT Crew, though, just brute force their way in through the front. Subliners Academy trying to rotate to block spawns. They do not successfully do that. Saints, though, I think is very aware that there could still be members who are spawning in this back corner. Hamza working his way forward. Clean kill feed.
Wow.
The split focus from Subliners puts UT Crew in a bit of a blender. And with a 4-man feed, it's another quick break from New York.
I mean, I would love to say it's just Spart on respawn, but Spart across all 3 game modes has been absolutely electric for Subliners Academy, really since their creation. Nice little challenge from ProLoot again. Be able to see them at 13-6, 16-8, double positive for Spart will drop inside of Tiki, but again, now for UT Crew, you got to chalk all of scrap time. You just got to continue to try to set up for these hills, but every single time that they get set up, Subliners Academy, they're there within the immediate rotation, not even while the next hill is active shift, that they break up the setup UT Crew have. Phantoms trying to keep their life over by ring would love to set up their team for success.
You know, it's just been a more competitive map than I think the score might suggest. It's just to a couple of kills that either Yeezy didn't finish or New York just cleanly execute on that have allowed these breaks to occur. So 70-139 the current tally, but this lockdown from UT Crew looking the most comfortable that we've seen so far. Hamza trying to change that. Phantom's also falling, and now it's just down to Major Maniac. He's in the hill with a crit. Good luck, have fun. Only able to take down 1, and that puts Glowfrosty on 5 in a row.
Got another break this time for the back 30. Hamza trying to keep their life. It's going to be Saints that is looking over towards their shoulder with like a Guardian Angel. Setup being broken again. Subliners Academy, they are in here with a stellar lead, going in towards a second set of hills with only 12 seconds remaining. And look at their spread as well. Just trying to read where all of UT Crew are coming from. You can tell just off the arrows on the minimap that they are just so comfortable. The small talk is absolutely stellar. Plus the pings, the artillery strike, and you have a cruise missile going on towards the second set. UT Crew, I've never said it more, but this is an uphill battle.
It really is. I guess the only bit of good news here is that Hamza does use a very early streak when the game is still manageable to pull back. But maybe not. Hamza finds a double, holds down the trigger, not going to get the final shots required to take down Phantoms, and as Major Maniac sneaks behind him, that will lead to a break. So what, use an artillery strike for the better part of maybe 20 seconds at most? That's not overall bad. He's going to use the cruise missile too, so here come the streaks. Yeez will surely fall. Can he bend this one into the window? Not going to be the case, and that's again, you know, okay, cool, fine, whatever. Does that really make too much of an influence where UT Crew can't pull this game back? It almost feels like that streak is maybe a bit early.
It might be, but I also see where it's coming from, right? You keep all of UT Crew off the time. Time is what obviously UT Crew want more than anything. Terrain of the map, that's great. They're able to at least hold P2 spawns, but haven't really been able to say much as far as time is concerned. But we'll have to see if that's a bigger influence, depending on how UT Crew hold P2 and how they influence the rotation over towards New. Great kill from Major Maniac will take down Hamza for Pro Loot plus Spart. Know that they got to get money clear, but it's all good for UT Crew in the kill feed.
Yeah, it's 2 streaks for, what, 40 seconds at most. We'll see if that comes back to bite them in the rear. Because UT Crew have dealt with the initial attempt from the Subliners Academy to not just break the hard point, but also try to work their way around the back for spawns. Yee's falling up front. Spart able to find one more down by Pool. Rex needs to do something magical. Will only find a couple of shots in. Major Maniac, he was on a handful in a row, but eventually drops. Now back over to Yeez, working his way in. Good help from behind. UT Crew re-break, and Rex is on the rotation. Definitely potential for UT Crew to bounce back into this game.
Yeah, Hamza holds their kill feed, so they're still going to spawn in. While Subliners Academy scrambling to try to get for a stellar setup. Reg's almost able to find 2, but that's still a big kill. Could influence potentially the pinch, and look where Saints just spawned out. All the way over towards P2. Will join the likes of Rex. While you still have Phantom soaking up the bat pit of the hard time, they're going to know that one player's from behind. So now they know this is an overall 3v3 for the hill. How do they break? Great opening kills.
Just down to Phantoms, able to work his way on. And also gets the read on Hamza, but can't finish the kill. Rex should be able to come around behind him for no problem on the cleanup. Or should. Oh, no! Hamza was weak. Granted, Saints was able to help for some team shots, but Hamza with the spinner finds the elimination. And now Subliners Academy fully planted in garage. They will not be able to close it out here, you feel like, unless they can cleanly deal with this UT Crew push.
Phantom's got to get on. Phantom's got to get on, but Hamza shuts them down. Next player up top is going to be Yeez inside of Waits. They're already weak. Hamza knows their presence. Yeez is able to win the gunfight, but you still have players spawning in. Sparts then goes down. So now you're going to chalk the back 15 seconds because you got to go. It is a foot race over towards the basketball court. Isolated 1v1. Major Maniac turns back around, finds the second on the Saints inside of jungle. This makes it easier for UT Crew to set up to break inside of P4.
Yeah, easier to break, but it's still difficult to get back into this game down 100 points.
It's doable.
But Major Maniac can maybe earn streaks. We can start entertaining the conversation a bit more fully. You just feel like that Hamza kill in Garage was the big difference maker into what this game looks like. Major Maniac just holding his life, holding hard point time as well. Rex also knowing that he needs to stay safe over in money. We'll just kind of throw a couple of shots out. Major Maniac finds his 5th elimination, but roll it from behind, gets himself a couple. And with still 30 seconds to play with, the only contestant would have been Phantoms. He falls. One more chance for UT Crew. They're going to try to split hit this. Some down the back stairs, others through the money window. Nobody finding kills, no one touching in time. Subliners Academy close out the series 3-1.
Well, it was very doable. I saw a lot of pretty convincing kill feeds across from almost what seemed like a 100-point comeback for UT Crew. But, I mean, how many times do you end up saying that this Team X has to play flawless hardpoint from here on out, and they actually live up to climb that mountain? You already said it was a very uphill battle. Subliners Academy held over UT Crew. And even though those streaks, they seemed like an opportunity being called in way too early by Hamza in Avenue for UT Crew to potentially come on in, catching a lot of Subliners Academy players scrambling again. That leader's advantage is just too much to try to bear. One more break is all they needed. One pro loot flank is all they really needed, as well as Spartan Saints to be able to find the kills from the front. And inside of P4, they'll close it out. So Subliners Academy starting off elite, right where they want to be with a 1-0 lead, or 1-0 record.
I mean, yeah, it really does feel like the Hamza spin in Garage changed everything. Because if UT Crew break that hard point open, there's an opportunity to where you keep that score underneath 200 points if you're UT Crew, and you've got a chance to still work your way back into that game. But it was just a little unfortunate, obviously. Very unfortunate, actually, for being honest with one another. Yeah. So for NYSL Academy, they close up this series 3-1. Okay. So I was about to say we had been looking into the Triumph versus TMNT game, but it looks like the mainstream observers have bounced us out of that one. So that way that they can close that out. Just kind of reporting on the initial mainstream match. Easter able to take the map 5 in round 11. And apparently, by what I'm seeing on Twitter, there was a pretty big breakdown from BBG preventing them from closing that map out.
That's tough, right? Because how many times do we keep on talking about North American challengers? One team name always seems to be looming, and that's Built by Gamers, right? You make one change, you get Pentagram to come in into Cup number 2, and you've been sticking around on these 4-player rosters. Continuously, I almost hesitate to say prove themselves, but it really always feels like that when they get in situations like the Open Cups, like through Elite, that they almost fall up short to the expectations, but they're always on the cusp, and that's such a tough start against a very, very tough Easter roster coming through stage number 2 in towards stage number 3. I haven't really seen them always skip a beat, though. Who could honestly blame them with having a couple of pros and ex-pros moving in that ring?
So what we're going to do here next is we're going to try to get things set up for Built by Gamers versus the Subliners Academy here as our main focus. We will also be giving periodic look-ins to what's going on with Easter and Fantastic Four. And then as soon as the mainstream finishes up with the TMNT and Triumph game, they'll be going to TMNT versus UT Crew. Apparently hearing that LAG Academy is not able to play today. They're looking at reschedule options for some reason. I'm kind of lost in the news for that, but that's kind of what's going on. So you'll be able to at least see the large majority of what's happening between these other 3 current matches pretty much simultaneously, as best as we possibly can. For now, we're going to step away for a break, get ourselves set up. We'll be back as soon as we get the maps and the lobby set up for BBG versus Subliners Academy right after this.
I need something to wake me up. It's never strong enough. I'm just getting colder and starting over. Going numb is just the way I run from
I wanna breathe like I'm brand new. Why can't I feel like I'm supposed to? Don't you feel the pressure? I do. Tell me this will end soon. My mind's running away, a mile a minute, can't shake it off. A free fall, I'd give anything to make it stop. How can I be an optimist when all this feels infinite? When the darkness finds me, all this feels infinite. Like the brightest blinker, all this feels infinite. It's infinite. Infinite, it's infinite. I gotta find some way to relate at you a lot so I can see straight erase every lie and have to anything I have to. My mind's running away, a mile a minute, can't shake it off. 6 feet down, buried in my own thoughts. How can I be an optimist when all this feels infinite? When the darkness finds me, all this feels infinite. Like the brightest blinker, all this feels infinite. It's infinite. Infinite, it's infinite. When the darkness finds me, then I follow blindly. How can I keep it together when all this feels infinite? It's infinite. Infinite, it's infinite. It's infinite.
Welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready for our second match, Built by Gamers going up against Subliners Academy. And well, word on the street, Built by Gamers choke them at 5 round 11 to go down 0-1 so far in the group stage. At a certain point in time, proper, my head's going to explode because every single time we watch this BBG squad, I always praise them saying they're playing their best Call of Duty so far in the season. And then they go and essentially throw away leads every now and again and make me second guess my sanity. So we'll find out what they have to offer here. Tough opponent. They've got Subliners Academy coming off of a very hot and pretty darn convincing 3-1 series, only dropping the round 11 search.
Yeah, and take it for what you will. I mean, the last time that technically these two rosters did face off against each other was back in stage number 1, of which we did actually see Subliners Academy taking it. It did go to a map number 5, and I'm right there with you, bud. I mean, every single time I think about these BBG guys, we're both big advocates for rosters sticking together, being able to learn together, being able to progressively make themselves go further and further for as far as cups and these elites are concerned. maybe this might finally be the weekend for BBG. But like you said, the Subliners Academy roster, if things are clicking, they got a main AR back now, so things are absolutely slaying back out when you're thinking about both ProLoot and Saints are feeling quite comfortable again. And most importantly, Spart. I think when you're BBG, maybe 1-to-1, you're almost thinking about both Pentagram and Kismet. They got to really worry about Spart because now Spart's back on the flanks. They're back to their old mischievous ways, and your flanks are just not as safe when you're only concerned with Saints.
I mean, that's absolutely true. It's just going to be really interesting because, Built by Gamers stayed consistent, stayed solid, same roster, decent performance through the open, finished second to Triumph. They don't have to play through the qualifier. They just worked their way right into stage 3 by being a playoff team from stage 2. And on the other side, though, as much as we continue to talk about the fact that the Subliners Academy team is the same roster that they had played with earlier on in the year, that is only as recent as 24 hours ago. I mean, they were thinking that Hamza wasn't going to be playing with them. They were going to put him out for somebody else, and then Hamza comes back in. A lot of second guessing as far as why that may happen. You even went as far to see people like Saints and ProLoot going out and saying Hamza's nasty. Should definitely be picking him up, and wouldn't you know it, they would end up picking him right back up again. And it's just every single year I feel like we have the conversation about someone like Hamza Glowfrosty that there's no reason to undervalue him. I kind of treat him in the very same respect as I would treat like a Tom Gravity. 2 main AR players that have been so darn consistent and so darn good, but still for some reason cannot lock themselves in as being a mainstay of not just a roster, but what do they have to do to get picked up alongside their teammates? Because like for Gravity's situation, everybody else a part of that initial Western team is in the Pro League. It happened the same way when he was on FaZe Clan Black back in Black Ops 4. At what point do we get people like Hamza and Gravity picked up to the league, I wonder?
Yeah, you even saw Coach Phoenix, coach of Easter, actually sit there and comment on one of Tom Gravity's posts, if you follow both of them on Twitter, to say, your time is coming, buddy. It's right around the corner. Because you got to think that Tom's chance to get inside the league might just be there, as well as most of these players that are playing for Subliners Academy. I mean, what a great avenue it actually is for challengers, especially playing in North America, that you have the immediate avenue in the current state of the current world to potentially play for the Pro League, so long as you're able to show your grit. I mean, look at so many players since the beginning of the Cold War season for CDL have been able to get the come up. You already talked about Wester as well as Neptune at the beginning of the season. Doesn't go unnoticed. They're across so many different rosters, and we're not done yet. I mean, we're only barely halfway through, but for this matchup here between BBG and Subliners Academy, for the tale of 2 different sides, right? Players trying to get into the league for the first time, players trying to get back into the league for both sides. You got players like Spart that come to mind from their time on LAG last season, as well as Kismet from their time spent back on Paris. And, through challengers, they've been at least able to showcase their strengths. It's a really good matchup to be able to show what they got going in towards Elite Stage 3.
See how things kind of unfold. Built by Gamers. That very brilliant blue and pink going up against the Subliners Academy in their stapled yellow. And Spart, Saints, a couple of kills as they try to pinch things up. Saints from behind, gets tagged up heavily by Pentagram. He was coming nasty to TL, saying that he's about to hit final form. Wants to be in takeover mode. He does get put aside. Only a couple of kills for BBG, which is a bit surprising considering that they actually still were able to grab 11 seconds of the hardpoint time.
Big 1v1 potentially to play for the spawns. No, it's still going to get a spawn in, though, as Pentagram, given where the rest of the members for Subliners Academy are located at. But inside the hill, you still got to put your focus. And given that Subliners Academy here on Raid Hardpoint have an opportunity to push through the middle of the map and always threaten for P2, just wait for the opportunity to do so.
ProLoot dancing with the devil here. Finds a final shot into Pentagram, no problem, but there are more reinforcements nearby. Gets the reload, tries to go for the jump slide. Not going to be allowed to, as BBG just spawned right up next to the next hard point. That will allow them some time initially here in Kitchen. Saints working down low. One of the things we noticed about the Subliners Academy is that they love to try to play around the back as much as possible first, but when it's shut down, they're typically pretty resilient about just trying to flood from the front. You're seeing that kind of come through as no kills will be tallied whatsoever for NYSL.
Shut down the front. No admission through the jungle whatsoever. So now Hamza is able to find 2. That's over by the open staircase. 3 players deep actually hitting it through jungle. The pinstripe kill feed for sure, but numbers are absolutely in the favor for Subliners Academy. They get the spawn-ins. The battle for the scrap time will be theirs and secured, but look like Gamers have themselves a little bit of an opportunity. It's not like the rotation from 2 to 3 is a short one at all. You also got to go through the middle of the map where BBG are looking for exit kills.
Yeah, but you did see for a moment there, Kismet was trying to finesse for a little bit of contest time at the end. He gets taken down, which actually leads to Subliners Academy having a pretty wide open avenue to push through the middle of the map, and with that kill from Saints, also get over to the AC unit pretty darn quickly. So where does GodRx spawn? Way out by basketball. You have to hold this right here if you're BBG with whatever numbers you have left, but not a single member will find an elimination. GodRx also drops, and Subliners Academy will get an initial break on their first attempt.
And 15 seconds into the hard point, they're broken. They are already set up. Prelude's still alive inside of Art. It will be traded on now, but the setup for Subliners Academy is a big one. Nobody's immediately looking through poolside, so that means that Panda might have an opportunity to try to blow this setup up. I say that, but Hamza's still inside the hill with the quality beams down to low HP. Got to get Kismet off. They're able to do so. The Subliners Academy, just when you thought that BBG had the pretty good initial setup, they get broken up. Now they got to focus their rotation over towards New, where Pro's already located at.
You can just kind of feel, though, you know, the cause and effect of the ebb and the flow of a map like Raid. It all starts back with that Kismet trying to finessing the old time at the second hard point. He dies quickly, and the Subliners Academy just storm across the field. So something similar maybe being set up this way, as Built by Gamers will have the initial lockdown setup that they want in and around basketball. Proloot working by himself, long side through Laundry. Two more Subliners making their way through Kitchen, clearing every single angle. Kismet, Patience, trying to capitalize. Not going to find the first elimination. Saints' part already into Kitchen. Hamza's got the beat onto Pentagram, over by Tiki, trying to stay alive, but GodRx and Panda respond beautifully from inside the hard point. They collect 3 kills, and now they have to respond to the Subliners coming from behind. First set of kills, not bad. Second set on the way, maybe. Kismet trying to pitch. BBG, hold on solid.
And it was that last little hit that actually won them the game versus UT Crew in their first series of the day. But Built by Gamers still have players spawning in, and they're doing quite well for themselves on a 3 spree. Kismet will go down at 9-9, 9-6 start for Pentagram as well. Now towards the center of the map, just about dead even in between these two teams. Saints just looking to zone away a couple kills inside of Zig. They'll be cut down, so Built by Gamers are looking to fly as soon as P5 becomes active.
Flight restrictions in place, though, as they have to work around the first hard point if they want to even try to surround this. Subliners Academy clearing out the water stairs. Proloot finds a second from the same position. GodRx with the Krig really can't do too much. He's got to wait for help. Help is arriving, but it feels like it's taking forever. GodRx was the first one to move forward. He gets dealt with. So far, Subliners Academy, good for the first 30 seconds. Pentagram able to work on in to try to find the last couple of kills required, and Panda and GodRx there off the respawn to help. That'll lead to a break with still 20 seconds to play for.
Yeah, 30 seconds it took for that pinch play to go in full effect. A nice little surgical move for BBG to work their way inside of P5. So going to mean about a 20-second difference going in towards the second set. The Saints is able to lock down these 2 kills. Panda's able to help things out. Spark 2 on the back end, but in towards the second again, Subliners Academy with a very marginal lead, but Built by Gamers again. They're always looking ahead. They're trying to find a way to work these kills towards poolside and get themselves a little bit more favorable gunfights going in towards P1. The problem here is that Subliners say, that's fine, we'll just soak up all the time that P1 is still active.
And they also locked down the potential play from behind by BBG, so a brilliant lockdown at that. 20 seconds come and gone, most of it tallied by the Subliners Academy. Pentagram tried to play for a flank, but he's the last BBG member alive. Finds himself a Krig trying to turn for Proloot, who was on the chase, and doesn't even get tagged. Steck will come through, so a little bit from beyond the grave action happening for him, and then Hamza. A couple more, locking things up. GodRx will survive topside Laundry, but still, BBG empty from any time whatsoever on this first hard point. 15 seconds to play for, and Proloot actually wants to try to throw some consideration back towards that scrap time, which will mean that BBG still spawn driveway and are so far away from seeing the kitchen.
Yeah, that's right. And it was all of that time that they'd given up towards Subliners Academy, where they thought it was going to be a fruitful play in towards the P2 spawns, and holding on towards that, it falls flat. And now they're going to have to try to break through the front again. Great opening kill towards the money window. That's a great push where 3 players of BBG are trying to push all the way through.
Kismet, good first kill in the back. Looking for a second, able to grab that one as well. Pander from the front, meanwhile, pinching. Gonna find another elimination, but Hamza stays alive, and Hamza off-screen finesses for a double. The rest of the Subliners will spawn in. A catastrophic moment here for BBG. You thought the kills were going to be good enough to win the hard point, but this scrap time might just put this game completely out of range if they can soak up every final 20 seconds that remain here for the Subliners.
And same thing like the first set, right? Now you're playing for exit kills. Not going to try to fully go in there if you are Kismet. Just try to play for the exits. Maybe just try to inchworm their way in here for the contest. Laying prone is able to find one. Slide challenge is going to be good for Prelude for the trade. But yeah, you chalk that all up. Now you're rotating all the way out. About a 100-point lead that Subliners Academy are looking at. And with Subliners Academy already flying past red, they're actually going to force player number 4 of Kismet to spawn in towards P2. So an opportunity for Subliners to work their way in early.
Feels a bit familiar, doesn't it? Same
really
exact
does.
situation as the last rotation. Subliners again cleanly break. Oh, built by gamers, you're going to need to look back at that and reconsider if that little bit of contest finesse is even worth it, as 2 times they've tried it, 2 times it's failed, but this time it could cost them the game. Hamza locking things up. GodRx, the only one that could contest, but gets pitched from behind, and the Subliners will take map number 1 convincingly to 51-42.
Oh, word. Okay. You got to think that it comes down towards that P2.
Oh,
Look,
for sure.
I'm not a pro player. I'm not even a pro coach. I'm just sitting here as the John Madden analyst of Call of Duty. But you're giving up numbers, and that's more time that you got to hold your kill cam as well. All that time is just an opportunity to work your way across the map for the opposing team. As we quickly hop back in towards your live look-in, an opposing match, Fantastic Four versus Easter. Easter, that team that upset BBG that fell incredibly flat in their first round, or their first match of the day, versus a white-hot Fantastic Four. Some familiar teams on that team shift. Familiar names, I should say. Excuse me.
Yeah, Method slacked the 2 additions to the roster, as Fantastic Four did not have to qualify. They retained their spot and retained 2 members to allow them to just be an inserted team into stage number 3. Needed to do some work here, though. Third hardpoint just opening up. John in the middle of the map, able to find 1 big elimination. That'll keep the contest heavy through gold. And he should also just spawn right back up right in front of the hardpoint, which he will. Gravity up top deals with Slack. And for Fantastic Four, it's Dave and Methods from behind, trying to do something, but the anchor too strong. Methods going to give it up, and as they try to turn their attention forward, Easter ready for that as well. Decent eliminations in the first 35 seconds, solid for Easter here in the third.
Yeah, very good. And again, if you're unfamiliar with this Easter roster, there are a lot of eyes still on John. A lot of folks think that this guy's the next one on the come-up, former champs, Victor as well, but 12-17 start for them, just looking to play their role. A 70-point lead, helping Easter along the way. The rotation towards 4 kind of get blowing up here for the likes of Fantastic Four. Thought that they had the numbers. Jerd was able to find 1. It's a bit of a scramble, but at least Fantastic Four are trying to get their ARs in line for this Boulevard Hill.
Yeah, big double for Methods to keep the bank safe as well. So that'll actually force Easter to have to spawn over towards the Boulevard. Dave really needs to get something going here. He's 9-18, destroyed by gravity. John opening up space, a 4-man feed. Easter, you would never have known that that was the unfavorable position, the way that they just broke it apart in one fell swoop.
No way. If you told me that that was the favorite side off of that little clip right there, I would believe you. The way that Easter just broke their way through. 25 seconds still remaining inside of this hill. Jerd cutting at some toes of Dave Patty will finally get the challenge for the full-on kill. 3-1 trade. This is going to put them at about 233 going in towards another set of hills. And you got to think that that's just fully in towards the driver's seat where they can close it out.
Yeah, with the hill at their back, this is going to feel great. But Fantastic Four, Desi, Gold, able to find 1. Knows there's a second nearby. Should also recognize the third is for sure going to be nearby. Jerd needs to try to keep his life over by Gold. The kills are coming nicely for Fantastic Four. Hardpoint opens up in the middle, and it will be F4, the first team that's in. Easter is still spawning on the right side of the map. An opportunity to decide to play this safely if they want to, just to win the game on the second hardpoint. But you don't want to finesse that for too long, because these kills are starting to light up, and a lot of it coming from Dave, who's already on 5 in a row.
Desi going back inside apartments, off screen, 1v1. He's going to be able to at least find another kill, slacked for a second. So still threatening for the rotation while also winning the gunfights inside of Metro. This is how you set yourself up for a comeback when a team of Easter's caliber is already over 200 points. Point will be contested for the time being, but that's okay, because it's going to be setting up a pinch play for Desi of Eskies.
He uses it nicely. Fantastic Four break right back in. 13 seconds to play for, and F4, as you see on the right side of the minimap, already ready to go for the second hard point. Need to keep these positions locked down, though, as Easter are are going to soak up some scrap time. And to be fair, if they were to continue to do that through the next 2 hills, they could just win the game off that alone. Fellow, blocking things mid-map, looking for a break as Easter. They're going to use a streak to try to clear off some of the hard point. It's going to scatter all over the platform. John is able to find the first elimination. Fellow gets one more, but Desi inside apartments keeps the play alive. Spawning out, though, is Fantastic Four. Have to find a way to break on in, and it's going to have to be Desi from behind. Finds himself a second elimination, but as he turns his attention forward, he's going to need some help, and help has arrived in the form of Slap. Gets a double through middle. Easter's so worried about Desi. Allow Fantastic Four a chance to send this to another hill.
So now you got to scrap it. You got to go wrap. You got to rotate all the way through, and that's exactly what that's exactly what Easter are trying to do, setting themselves up for the exit kills, looking through the middle of the map, even from the respawns. Potentially to threaten it, though, is Tom Gravity. Finds one slack for the trade. You gotta imagine if they won that 1v1, that would have gone ahead and been GG's, but over towards the rotation, Easter is set up. John will be caught mid-flash.
Oh!
Methods finds 2 on return, and they're in.
They're in, they're contesting. The spawn's still good for Easter, but they have nobody inside or even around the hard point. Fellow Semtex gets the job done for 1, and then Jerd bounces back. Desi needs to find a way to keep this hard point neutral, but he drops. Easter looking good to clear out map number 1. It's gonna have to be Dave, but with an AR, he cannot get there in time. It got dicey, it got interesting, but Easter still retained their lead and take the map 1 victory.
And again, when you're looking at as soon as we hopped in here from 2 all the way in towards 3, it's just the way that Easter were breaking inside these hills continuously, keeping it scrappy, but it was them, a handful of members that were able to find 2 pieces or the 3 pieces. Those team shots were a little bit more potent. As soon as we hopped in between hills 2, 3, and 4, at the end of that rotation of them, that Easter were just able to build such a monumental lead. It was really tough at the end of it for Fantastic Four to come back. It got close, it got really dicey, and I almost sat there, and my heart really bumped for that comeback to come through. Just not to be. So as soon as we say that, we're going to hop back in towards our main match between Subliners Academy versus Built by Gamers. And again, this is a big test for Built by Gamers to really showcase where they're currently at, and Subliners Academy, Alan, to be able to see what Hamza has to offer. And they've been looking pretty good between the 4 maps that we've seen for them in their opening matchup here. And as we load in Checkmate Search and Destroy, you think that the submachine guns might feel quite at home.
You can't deny that Hamza's going to come through and be a consistent player. He just always finds a way, you feel like. But BBG getting aggressive. Keep an eye on Kismet. He's all the way around the backside of this play. Spart on his lonesome in a 1v4. Left wondering what in the world just happened to us.
Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right? So the punch in the face is this flank right here. Kismet, infamous, notorious even, since starting in Challengers for Cold War, finding these flanks and just with no disregard hits it. There was no pushback from the offensive Subliners Academy towards that ace tree. Was able to at least find one from behind, and Subliners Academy all turned around. It was like a bamboozle. Subliners Academy all crumbled, Built by Gamers, with a pretty convincing opening defense.
Very convincing opening defense, you would say. And a lot of it is just aggression. There's Pentagram who found first blood, bottom side plane, and then you mentioned the big blow up was Kismet on the flank. So now, Subliners Academy maybe trying to make some aggression of their own. They know Kismet's caught out. Good first blood. Saints barely staying alive, but will stay alive nonetheless. So a 4v3 situation. Spart's going to make it now a 4v2 as he takes out the bomb carrier of Pander, which I know seems a bit strange, but I think that just goes to show that they're using their SMGs as a way to open up the map and then allow Pander to move forward to plant the bomb freely. But they have a lot of work to do here between just Godorex and Pentagram in a 2v3 situation with 48 seconds to play.
Gotta think that it's just going to come down to maybe a medium to long range shot. Saints has a great angle to watch through the plane and underneath the plane. On the 38 seconds, Pentagram with the Krig. Would love to find one of these angles, but Subliners Academy are giving BBG absolutely nothing. BBG got to make a play, and Subliners Academy know it.
Oh, does Godorex see anything of Saints? Oh, now he does. Peekaboo. Saints not going to bother re-challenge that. Though, he is forced into the line of sight of Pentagram. Godorex almost able to grab a second. If he does, maybe there's an opportunity. Pentagram, fadeaway shots. Time becoming a problem. The gunfight also providing a bit of a distraction. A little bit of whack-a-mole going on between these two guys. Up and down they go.
It's like a Clown Fiesta song playing in the background. And Perlo finally just hits it. Drops. Says like, look, if you're just gonna keep on playing peekaboo with me, I'm just gonna go ahead and just end it right then and there. You almost had to think that with that one kill that was found over by the A lane. I mean, we know because of the X-ray and all, he might have had the opportunity to play for the plant, but love the heads up call to potentially upset it, get inside the more difficult site to retake. Subliners Academy, though, love to find an offensive round, and this is also pretty infamous for ProLoop. They love getting pretty aggressive underneath that wing to find first blood across on the opposing side. Luckily enough, they get away with their life eating a handful of bullets.
How about the distinct difference from BBG this time off the defense? The furthest player forward is Pentagram. He's got a Krig on seats inside of the bomb site. Is pushed back by a Semtex. A lot of consideration here for BBG as far as, are you just playing for a retake? Because you're allowing Prolo to freely get on the bomb and then plant. This will be interesting because you've got at least 3 ARs, and as they lose Kismet, now you might only have ARs that are left. Pentagram does work his way on, but falls to a Semtex, and I'm left scratching my head on what exactly was the play call here for BBG.
I mean, they wanted to wait for the push through. They had the read on one of Proloot, was on that north wing underneath. You saw where they started the round. Maybe a little bit of information on another right behind them, but you wanted to wait for the play to come all the way through. The stark difference was that with the way that Subliners Academy used their tacticals, used their lethals to clear out this space, gave them the opportunity to get BBG off of those head glitches, off of those positions where they were going to shut down that push. They didn't even need the kills to be able to work their way towards the bomb plant by the time they found first blood, and BBG attempted to retake that BS and D site. It was just all cross angles held in and around the plane. Some would say wonderfully executed. BBG, though, shook themselves off a little bit too early.
Now Hamza, first blood on the Pentagram. That was bottom plane. Pander there for at least the immediate trade. Kismet now with the bomb is going to try to stick for an immediate plant. The question is, can he get away? Prolo does not find the kill. Semtex is very well placed. One will be sent in response, but Kismet cannot challenge at 8 HP, but Pander's here to try to help. And help he will need to. It's just down to him. Saints from behind, no problem. Subliners Academy swarming across the map. Decent isolation. They go up 3-1.
Yeah, Hamza finds that first blood, and well, that one player was left alive for BBG. They were going to help out cover that north lane immediately where the flank came through to help out inside the plane. And Kismet just narrowly escaping with their life. The site's really hard to retake, but fighting first blood definitely helps your cause. As we saw the flank come all the way through, and the pinch just too much to bear against. Subliners Academy, their decision-making, with a little inch of creativity along the way, are looking pretty darn good on Checkmate. Search and destroy. And you almost have to go back to that first round, right? What wanted for BBG, again, was that big flank for Kismet. They did that one time. They got exposed going in towards the second. Even on the opposite side, they haven't done it a single time since. And without finding that very aggressive first blood and keeping Subliners Academy on their back foot, it's been really tough for BBG.
Big long-range shots from Panda. That first blood is actually all the way over by the wood jump wall. So early numbers, but it doesn't really influence what was already being approached from Subliners Academy largely, as Proloot with the bomb is thinking about trying to play the bottom of the wing. Got her X there for the response. Saints for a 1v3. Not going to get past God X. So yeah, I mean, a much different look, but this time BBG set up defensively, not nearly as passive. They put themselves in line of sights to make sure they could deal with Subliners off the rip, and after the first blood came through over by the jump wall, God X puts the rest down just underneath the plane.
Yeah, it's the coverage this time around. They're recognizing that since Kismet can't keep that A street covered, that they're now putting themselves elsewhere, sometimes inside the plane, sometimes towards that south lane. But now it just comes down to the ARs, both Pander and God RX, to put themselves in positions you saw there to cover that A street, where Subliners Academy are dedicating 2 players, most offenses, to push all the way through. That if you could stop them from moving their way even through that lane and towards that wing, just comes down to the 1v1s inside the plane itself. BG towards another offense. Pentagram looking for a first blood. It's Kismet that's left inside the plane all by their lonesome. Hello, Rex.
Whoops.
Hey. How's it going?
Kismet trying to move his way forward. Got a Rex. Good shots. Pushes back Spart. Pander looking for the trade. Oh my goodness, nearly got gunned, but does come out on top. Leaves us with a 3v3. Pardon me, 3v4. 3v3? Confusion. 3v3.
3v3.
Okay. Hamza's going to make sure
Thank you,
that Rex
Hamza.
falls. Getting confusing in here. Prolud on top the bomb, not liking the look of what's to come. Backs away. Does leave a chance for Kismet to make a play forward, but now Hamza's working on in, and decent shots take down the bomb carrier for Built by Gamers. 25 seconds to work with, which is not a lot of time to make this play around the flank. Pander's going to need to find at least one kill. He will not. Got a Rex. 15 seconds. 1v3. Not going to happen.
Yeah, there's just no way. Cross angles over by the H Street, down by the back staircase. Subliners Academy were just almost double challenging everything from there on out. And it really came down to that kill. The bomb dropped right on the site. Just holding the angle over by the main cabin with a Krig 6 is just such a deadly combo. That heady that you hold. 2-round lead now for Subliners Academy. Things really starting to click as far as their retakes and overall just value that they are finding manipulating the terrain here on Checkmate Search and Destroy towards another offense. Is going to see Prolute yet again. This time they have Saints as far as help. We'll be flash checked here, so at least the information will be mutual. Pentagram finds first blood.
This is the same route that he hit from the prior couple of defenses. Walks away with 2. Good help from GodRX for a 3rd. I mean, you can see, you talked about it from a couple of rounds ago. Last time that the Subliners were on offense, they were able to kind of make sure that Kismet couldn't play a flank, but they continually found first blood on the Pentagram. But this time he's got help in the form of GodRX over the top. So the two of them with this little bit of a duality play will walk away with all 4 kills, and that brings us back to a 1-round differential.
BBG flexing their brain muscles, right? Showcasing a little creativity on defense. GodRX is getting a little bit more aloof with their positions. Previously in the 2, this time around, looking over towards the angle like you just highlighted. Can they find that same value for an offense? Striking together around, signing it up for a piece would be great. A lot of coverage towards that A Street. Kismet, very aggressive, has a Krig 6 this time, keep in mind you.
Hamza does find first blood, though, on the Pentagram. And Kismet with this AR. Just waiting for Saints to peek. No need to, though, as Pander, the next one to fall for BBG. GodRX can't get back to the bomb. Kismet by himself. 1v4. Here is Spart Mantle above him. Not going to expect him to come down low so quickly, though. So now 5-3 upper NYSL Academy. And 1 round away from being up 2-0. This would be a heck of a way to start their stage 3. Not only winning their first match, but finding a way to take this search and destroy would be great.
You know, as far as the question is concerned, is how much practice, how comfortable were they going to be with Hamza into the mix? I think it's a pretty definitive. They looked all right. They look great. They're looking like that blind trust really never left. Obviously, the core 3, Spart, Saints, and Prolute, been playing quite a lot together. And the player that I highlighted the most since we hopped into that first matchup with Subliners Academy versus UT Crew has been having themselves a whale of a day. Double positive is Spart. 10-5 on 3 straight through multiple rounds. Nice cornerstone for Subliners Academy. BBG, they got to get them some things working. In their previous defense, it was Pentagram that was able to find a very good opening, but they're not pushing it this time around, knowing that Subliners Academy probably have that covered.
I've not seen a lot of plants come off yet. Just 2.
Yeah, maybe just 2 or 3.
Well, 2. 1 plant, 1 defuse so far. Prolute trying to make his way around the plane. Not going to happen. Pentagram locking things down off crossing angles. Saints for a 1v3. Hell of a challenge, but one that he was forced to take as there is pressure from behind. So we go into round number 10. Built by Gamers, keeping it close, but that's one of what would need to be 3 rounds in a row.
Yeah, I don't know why I immediately went towards attempts for plants on top of also plants going down, but it's just a lot of the angles and a lot of death being found before you even get a chance. Blender that is the middle of the plane makes things quite chaotic. And again, Subliners Academy getting pretty aggressive when it means to matter the most. BBG aren't getting aggressive anymore. And that has been their, I almost think their calling card to winning a lot of these rounds is when Pentagram or, in fact, when Kismet is able to find these avenues, it will cause a lot of ruckus in towards the backline of Subliners Academy. But it is under firm lock and key. But how about this as far as an offense is concerned? Bomb carrier Panda, of course, your AR is going to be looking for a cross angle, just touching out of server, while the rest of the BBG are working underneath the plane.
Oh. Kismet fortunate to be alive, and this is the thing about this Build Like Gamers offense, is they do put Pentagram onto an AR. Kismet as well could be kind of waiting to kind of spam through these doorways. They're trying to just kill off Proloop by way of just AR bullet penetration. But it makes it difficult if he stays alive, but that's a major if. And you see exactly why. Pentagram finds the kill. Panda not going to commit to trying to play onto the B site, though. Maybe looking to see if BBG can work some kills off rotation, and then with all these ARs, maybe set something up for A, but all the space given, the Subliners will come right back in, find themselves a couple of kills to give us a 2v2. Saints, the only SMG player on the map, he's able to keep things dicey in the plane, and the Subliners Academy put it away in 10. 6-4, they go up 2-0 in the series.
Even in a numbers advantage, Subliners Academy, they just don't care. Hamza was holding this cross angle the entire time, and the read on the situation that they were going back and towards the plane. Couldn't see Saints all the way across the main cabin, and then came right back down towards that crossfire. Again, the execution is for Subliners Academy across many different rounds. I could sit here almost for an entire hour and just try to break down of how awesome a lot of those rounds looked. And also just, again, the manipulation, both the mental warfare versus Kismet and Pentagram, trying to find those flanks, shutting them down before they even started, really kept BBG on their back foot for a lot of their creativity. I'm sure that they wanted to show. Subliners Academy were always one step ahead.
Well, it feels like Built by Gamers, and this is, I mean, we saw them do this during the Open Cup as well. I mean, they were putting together a little bit of a lengthier lower bracket run, so we actually watched them through the lower semis, the lower finals, and the grand finals, and they've played this map a couple of different times to not where only they showcase the ability to play aggressive like we saw in round number 1 and a couple of defensive setups that they had, even beyond that with Pentagram playing bottom plane. But this quadruple AR, or at least triple AR setup that they put together on offense sometimes is something they do pretty regularly. And as much as I can appreciate the opportunity it builds to essentially team shot wallbang someone beyond the B site and give you a little bit extra firepower when it comes to trying to play around A, if they don't get that first kill, they become stagnant. And it just feels like it's a one-trick pony composition to where if it works great.
Yeah.
But if they don't get it off the ground, there's nowhere for them to go because an SMG player that can stay alive against those ARs will just always dominate that bomb site, it feels like. So, I don't know. Maybe a little bit of tuning that needs to go into that setup. But for Built by Gamers, well, immediate tuning need to go into this series as they find themselves down 0-2. We look at the series setup as far as what maps we have. It's going to be more Checkmate, which might not be great for them overall because we have it for the control and the potential second hard point before we get to a Miami Search and Destroy, which is where we would need to get to if BBG want to set up a reverse sweep.
Yeah, it's got to be a reverse sweep starting here on Checkmate Control, which through Elite Stage 2, they were 1-2 overall. So, I mean, it's going to be a pretty tough place to be in, but we'll go ahead and take a quick look in what's going on between Easter versus Fantastic Four. They're going to be starting things off here as far as a search and destroy on raid. Remember, Easter taking that first hard point 250 to 185, but Easter on the offense want this B side and wise enough push all the way through to clear their backs.
Bomb is planted for Laundry as Jordan gets it down safely. Dave, Desi, trying to work this together. Oh, that's actually some decent information for Dave. I believe he sees Jerd to his right. But unfortunately wanted to try to help Desi clear things out through driveway. He's not going to even get up towards the van. So the first blood from Fellow is all that's required as Easter to storm on in, get the bomb planted, and then the post plant was barely even tested.
Yeah, and again, it's this first blood, right, that you end up finding. So that way, again, you push all the way through on offense. You get that back Laundry control, have a player cross just in case they push out of kitchen, potentially of the jungle side. And you flip the map. In a post-plant situation, that is such a deadly way to try to work your way back in. Even through the middle of the map, it's going to be some pretty key gunfights. But now Fantastic Four, an opportunity to answer offense for offense into round number 2. Want this B site. Easter actually don't put a player inside of Laundry, but they do have middle map coverage.
But one of those players in middle map is Jerd. He falls as first blood, gets confirmed for Fantastic Four. Working outside the ring and towards Fellow, who is only trying to make sure that those backstairs stay safe, but as he tries to toss out a Semtex, Dave puts him down. Fantastic Four all over the B side, and it actually leaves Easter in a split situation for this 2v4. John is not liking the look of it, wants to try to play this with his teammate, or at least a little bit closer to him. But as he tries to peek through pillars, he gets immediately denied, and Gravity, I don't know what you do from this position. in a 1v4 in which you're being overwhelmed. Clean kills. Fantastic Four bounce right back in the same way.
Yeah, and a great take, right? When you immediately go towards driveway, well, we're not being shot at via laundry. There's nobody even peeking us. Immediately look towards the center of the map, have an AR cover towards that little place where you can fall off the map outside of laundry by isolation or process of elimination, I should say. You're able to figure out where Easter are mostly turtled up in. Great takeover by the B site. Now answering back with an offense of their own. Easter gonna immediately put their focus over towards that B site. 3 players strong is the defense, though.
Semtex down to the ground. John actually does come away with 1 elimination from that, but Desi, 4 kills in a row, cleans up the entire play, and now Gravity, one more situation that he finds himself in a 1v3. You really just don't want Desi to get this kill, I think, is the large part. He was trying to push forward into it, not going to get the chance, and our picture-in-picture shows us that BBG and NYSL have started their control on Checkmate, and off the initial look, BBG's already got themselves a tick of progress at the B zone.
Yep, and they're going to go ahead and secure the board. I'd say that most in the entire community would agree that's the tougher zone on Checkmate to take. Of course, they will be wiped off, but even still, a great opportunity to string together zones with 2 minutes on the board. Back in towards Easter versus Fantastic Four, though, for round number 4. Fantastic Four starting to string together a couple rounds. Those shots are really starting to beam. Destiny's having themselves a great opening of the map. They want this B side again. Easter again. Focus towards the middle of the map. They don't get first blood at this time is the biggest difference.
Yeah, that is a major difference, that's for sure. And how about this? Easter actually still have 3 members waiting for this Fantastic Four push through, but it might not make much of a difference. Slacked a lot of damage, but no kills to speak of. Jerd able to stay alive, put down the initial play for Fantastic Four. They go into a 3v3 situation. Desi trying to keep things hot, but falls as he was on a handful in a row. Dave now also on 5. Sees information that Gravity wants. The challenge goes to the pistol. Does not win the fight. Fantastic Four still in the end will take the round and go up 3-1.
It's the confidence coming out of Fantastic Four, right? Not only to take these challenges, but then be able to also win them too. They're finding themselves a lot of opportunities where they're able to put themselves in situations where they can win gunfights. And you almost have to think, coming in towards the next defense, and now Easter, they're going to have to at least put a member inside of laundry. Twice on over, it's been a B hit for Fantastic Four. An AR inside of laundry would be able to at least have the angle to throw in a couple shots, maybe get the opening kill and get away with their life. But through the middle of the map, they're just not finding success to stop it. We're towards an offense we go again. Easter again towards this B site via the driveway.
All 4 members are here, and they're moving quickly. Number 7 in Methods just needs to back away, play his life. Help from the middle of the map as Desi is able to find 1 elimination. Methods cleans up 1, pushing through laundry. Trade's good for Fantastic Four's defense. And very quickly, it's John in a 1v3, and they should know that he's playing in the backside of laundry. He does see Dave over the top. The shots you thought were going to be good enough, but maybe just a bullet short, and Fantastic Four really pulling away in the search and destroy up 4-1.
Yep, see, right there. That's Thank you, Fantastic Four. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Methods plays that role wonderfully. Inside of laundry, you called it beautifully, Alan. Gets away with their life, gets the confirmation of the information. I see 3 players on the other side of that ring. Yeah, I'm getting the heck out of Dodge, and I'm going to put myself in a spot where I can try to re-enter with my team and help them through the middle of the map. Now 3 rounds in the lead. Quick look at the picture-in-picture that BBG did, in fact, take that first offense, though. Subliners Academy not in a bad spot to potentially secure this A zone. BBG will just completely give it up and shift their focus to defending the B.
4 in a row for Methods up top, looking for number 5. He's going to be the one watching over this potential push towards A, which is underway, but Easter have some mid-map control. Dave, pressured, dealt with. Jerd looking for a second, denied by Slacked. That'll give some time for Easter to come on over as Slacked has to wait for the regen. Desi responds to John diving down the staircase. And that leaves Fantastic Four in a very favorable position. 3v1. They flip the bomb to B. And Methods on 5 will likely not even bother trying to peek Gravity, who's just searching for that final trade-off kill.
And again, well, wow. Methods does in fact peek in and track through the wall, the glass, I should say. Gravity will find that kill. Of course, that gives up their position. Bomb being planted at B. Mutual information. So here comes Gravity through the middle of the map. Angle will be covered, of course, but time, the immediate consideration, can you find these kills plus the defuse?
Oh, difficult with the time on the clock, really. maybe his biggest opponent. Slack shrugged down. Nice shots into Desi. Can't confirm the kill. Fantastic Four dominating. That's the word to use here. The search and destroy. Couple of decent opening moments, I would say, for both squads, but these last 4 rounds have been Fantastic Four through and through.
A fantastic 4 rounds, if you will, Shift.
You could say that, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, I did. So 8 and 3 for Desi. Again, they're having themselves a great search and destroy here on Raid. It comes through just, again, the confidence just to hit these routes and just taking the gunfights where you would think would not be favorable, but almost always have an AR looking over their shoulder. You see Dave and Methods 5 and 2, 6 and 3, respectively. Here comes an offense for Easter. We'll find nobody at home here at A. Of course, they don't know that reliably through the cutout wall or on the backside of basketball courts will be their first immediate defense of Dave Patty.
First blood. Oh, Desi wins that on the Jordan. Are you kidding? It doesn't feel like there's a gunfight on the map that he's not confident taking right now.
Yeah.
Fellow trying to respond. We'll even up the numbers a touch, but Slack is on the flank. And Slack will find gravity, no problem. Desi there to help. Nowhere for Fellow to go.
My word.
Plenty of time for the defuse. So a 6-1 here on the Raid Search and Destroy, and that will mean that Fantastic Four have tied this series up at 1 map apiece.
Convincing is a word that I would definitely say.
So.
Yeah. That first round was pretty good for Easter, flipping the map and being able to put themselves in a great win condition via the post plant. But I mean, overall, Fantastic Four. I can't say the word confidence enough in Checkmate in the sentence for that Raid Search to Destroy. As we'll go ahead and take a quick rest from that. The Fantastic Four tie up the series 1 apiece versus Easter. Quickly back in towards this checkmate control between Subliners Academy versus Built by Gamers. Yes, Subliners Academy, they were in fact able to win that offense. We see both Hamza and Saints having a pretty good go of things, but it's offense for offense we go. Built by Gamers, another crack at it.
Pander, opportunity to stall the clock. Kismet also able to find a kill over on the opposite side. Kismet, is this an AR he's got off spawn? Not sure, not going to matter. Saints and Spark find the kills, no problem, and New York Subliners Academy will take the middle of the map. But the only reason why I question that is that would be really strange for BBG on the offense to not have a sub. And okay, he will have a sub in hand, at least for this time around. Tries to go up the top, does get tagged by a nade, does not expect Prolo to have pushed forward. Got a wreck searching for the trade. We'll find it, but it comes at a bit of a cost of 4 life advantage for the Subliners Academy. But they do get cleaned up, trying to put some spawn pressure on. So now an opportunity for BBG to stack onto this B zone and get some progress made.
Spark is going to be looking to upset this play. Tries to lock down the first kill, but they get cut down from Pentagram, who finds a very key 2. 3 streak for them will be put to rest by Saints. Nice little break for Subliners Academy. Just as soon as BBG found themselves stopping the clock at B, the respawns from Pander put themselves over by A. But now we're down to 30 seconds. It is a solid 4 life lead the Subliners Academy have. And they just have to keep BBG zoned away from stopping this clock.
And realistically, I would say so far so good. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't really get a chance to see it on full screen, but it looked like Built by Gamers just won a really good flurry off the rip to get them out of that B zone and then stack for a quick capture in that first offensive round. Not finding the same success, at least not as of yet. Got a Rex on 3 in a row, though, while his teammates are actually capturing B. Saints has to make a decision on what he wants to clear, and he'll make his way over to the B wing, but Pentagram finding a kill, now trailing over. Opportunity to find this 3rd tick of progress. The Subliners Academy making their way forward. Spark good for 1, Prolute the other, but Pander has the final word, but he doesn't actually go towards the A zone to stop the clock. And Subliners Academy will find the immediate trade, clear off the map, and only leave Built by Gamers with 10 measly seconds to try to get back to a zone in which any attempt feels pretty futile.
Pentagram might be able to touch here. Maybe. 0.3 seconds. 1v1 versus Spark. Oh. I always like to give a little bit more optimism into it, but yeah, Subliners Academy, again, exhausting the win conditions out of BBG, and you're absolutely right, at least from what I saw in my peripheral vision of my 3rd monitor shift. It was just a very clean opening break off for BBG in their first offense. This time around obviously did not go in their way, and it kind of brings you back almost out of the Checkmate Search and Destroy, potentially through adaptations of Subliners Academy, trying to read where some of their flanking members of both Pentagram and Kismet were positioning themselves off. Potentially in the AR battle, because God Rex seems like they're having a pretty good time here at Checkmate Control at 1911, but it's going to have to be a defensive round here for BBG. Remember, they are currently down 2-0 in the series versus Subliners Academy. The Subliners Academy, pretty convincing on their previous breakoff, have 2 players inside the plane, while you also got to worry about Prelude towards this A street.
Good kills here from Prelude. That'll establish some pressure over towards A, especially as he steps forward and finds the second elimination. Long-range shots from Pentagram. Definitely aspiring some kind of luck into the mix. Hamza watching from the top of the wing. Pentagram down low. Now that he's got a Krig, will find a kill, but it's not going to be enough to clear off the remaining Subliners players, and that'll be a first tick of progress on A.
First tick, potentially more to follow. You can see BBG, they're hesitant on how they want to work their way back in here, not knowing fully where the rest of Subliners Academy members are at. Prelude underneath the plane, just trying to lock down a few more eliminations, but now the rest of the members for Subliners Academy that were able to survive that opening flurry, work their way towards that A zone. Just Spart left alive for the progress. We'll be able to get that last kill on the Pander. And well, BBG are actually still throwing numbers towards it. I was really worried unless Saints was and able to stay alive. Could be an opportunity for Subliners Academy to work their way towards the B zone, but they counted heads. No Pentagrams back here.
But he's dealt with. Still plenty of time to work with, too, for the Subliners Academy. So Built by Gamers have a lot in front of them as far as what they need to do. They're down 3 lives as well. Not a lot of mid-map pressure, really, either. Kind of the laundry list gets longer and longer, it feels like. Now that the hit's coming from behind, you thought there was going to be an angle of opportunity, but Pander and Kismet shut down the play. And BBG, for now, were able to hold on to this B zone. Good help from Pander to make sure Kismet stays safe, and that life deficit has now been reduced to just 1. And BBG have an opportunity to start play for a couple of spawn kills pending Pentagram could stay alive. Kismet trying to also push forward. I think they know that he's here, but it might not make much of a difference. Wasn't expecting the second challenger. So right back to the 50-50 battle. We go in the middle of the map.
And it's obvious, without a doubt, that the B zone here on Checkmate Control is wildly more difficult to take than it is the A zone, which is why we really highlighted when BBG did it off their opening rip. We were able to shave a solid minute off the board, keep the lives even. BBG on a defensive round, a must-win for them. Looking like they're primed and ready to do so. Prelude, quick little peek around the corner. We'll find GodRx. It's all about just finding these lurking members. With a shot punch from Panda will be good. Trades are okay. BBG, they still have success in coverage through the middle of the map.
Decent eliminations. Clearing off the pressure. Now the life lead's starting to amount. 30 seconds to kill off, or 8 lives. Kismet playing forward, good for 1, wanting the second, but it's at least Pander there for his trade to keep things a kill for kill, which is win condition for the side of BBG. Saints, does not expect Pander to be that close. As he slides right into his forehead, and that'll be enough for elimination, and that will likely be the ends of New York Subliners' attempts for a hopeful, successful offense, unless this 3v8 could come through. And Prelude will stall the clock for a time here, but he's going to have to finesse and find more than just 1 elimination, and that will not occur. So BBG, battle back, send things to round number 5.
Every single time I see a 2v7 for life count on the B zone on Checkmate Control, I always just think all the way back for what 100 Thieves did in that exact situation. My arm hair starts sticking up, Shift. I'm not even going to lie to you, but it doesn't matter because, again, it was a much-needed round, and they come through with it. BBG did a great job. Once they ended up losing that A zone, trades did come through, but they slowed up the pace, only setting in 1 player rather than a full-on flurry towards the spawn kills. You don't want to be giving up all of that space and opportunity for Subliners to find the kill, as we have a quick picture-in-picture for Easter versus Fantastic Four. Currently in towards their raid control. Easter able to take that first round, but BBG on the cusp of potentially being 0-2 on their day shift. Not a good look for them.
Need to find something here defensively, and the Subliners are going to have an opportunity to get at least 1 tick of progress at A. Oh, maybe not. GodRx actually finds an elimination. That'll pull Saints back to have to try to confirm. Spart mid-map, though, with the Krig. Moving as if he had a sub in hand, but oh my goodness, Pander responds somehow, some way. GodRx for his 4th in a row. Wants Saints, but turned aside as he only had 7 HP remaining. So Saints still on 3. Knows that he's got a player to his left. That zone shining purple and pink, but still loses the gunfight to Kismet. Pander shot punch. Mid-map stays safe. Subliners Academy, 50 seconds to work with.
Force out a team kill, so an opportunity maybe to work across this A street. But yep, Papa Kiz is right around the corner. He's going to be able to take down Spart. You know, I guess you are very lucky when you are BBG. You did win your previous defense. You're able to sit here on round number 5 in a much-needed map win versus Subliners Academy down to 30 seconds. One tick to show over towards A. They're looking for plane control. Pentagram just lying coy behind this wing. You're going to be able to flock down another kill, and you got to think that Subliners Academy maybe have one good attempt to get over towards one of these zones.
You see that popping up. Easter taking their second round for a 2-0 advantage on their raid control. That one also, just as a reminder, a 1-1 map count after Fantastic Four dominated the Search and Destroy. But with 19.5 seconds remaining, Subliners are stalling the clock, and they may just get this tick of progress. Pander's going to challenge and fall. Kismet, no chance to contest at 30 HP, but got a Rex throwing forward, but the A zone still confirmed regardless. So an extra 60 seconds on the clock, and we go into a 17v17 with 1:10 to play.
I got scared with Pentagram hitting that flank, but yeah, he saving grace. Got an extra you got that 60 seconds on the board. Just trying to make a play. Saints from the side will be able to take down Pander. Now an opportunity to get 2 members on the zone, and that is a pretty clean kill feed for Subliners Academy.
You do still have Kismet up top, though, in the plane. He can wait a little while longer for some teammates to cover his crossfire and then come on up from above. Finds the first, changes the angle, but Proloot there for the trade. Who's up next for BBG? Maybe Pentagram, sure is. Finds one, but the trades continue to be there. And as Saints works his way deep into the spawns, he's got actually enough time to work a couple of kills here before he's really required to come back to the zone. There's 40 seconds left. It is a 13v9.
Again, you can try to fish out these kills. Kismet trying to make a heroic play, drops down. It's only good for one. Pentagram for the cross angle. Now for the reach out, is able to find a second on the Hamza. Opportunity potentially presenting itself, but it's one tick of progress is all they need. Down to their 6 lives. It is a 4-life advantage that Subliners currently have. Saints trying to finesse will be traded on down. And again, this is still very doable for BBG with their 6 lives.
You cannot let this get out of control if you're New York. One break wins the game. Big first kill into Kismet. Spart now looking to play off the cross. Proloot in to stall the clock. Spart right next door. Pander falls. So does GodRx. And now you stack. You win the game. Built by Gamers. Can you find the kills? No chance. No angles. And the New York Subliners Academy come out in round 5. Take their offense. Win the series 3-0. I mean, oof. That is not a way you wanted to start the season off here in this split for BBG after a round 11 map 5 loss to get 3-0'd by Subliners Academy. They're going to be required to steal wins away from some major opponents if they want to avoid relegation again.
Yeah, but it's exactly where you want to be if you're a fan of Subliners Academy and for all 4 of those players. As we quickly hop back in here for Fantastic Four versus Easter, you can see for raid control, feeling pretty at home is Easter. 14-9 for Gravity, 25-8 for John. You wonder why a lot of people think that this kid is the next up, former champs. Well, go ahead and maybe we might have to relook at this raid control when we have some free time. But down to 53 seconds for an offensive push here. Fantastic Four would love to be able to work their way over towards this boathouse, or pool house, I should say. Probably be able to find themselves some 2 kills, potential to stop the clock.
Dave works his way on, and help has arrived. So one good set of kills could be all that Fantastic Four need. First tick of progress, good. Second on the potential way, and the kills, they absolutely are there. Gravity stays alive, but he's tagged down low. Methods confirms. That's going to be the second tick of progress, good. Third one on the way. Easter spawning all the way out. Have to find a way to contest, but the team shot's too strong. Fantastic Four stay alive with the control with the offensive win in round 3.
I guess almost the question has to come through. How many streaks do we have on the side of Easter, and when are we going to decide to use them if we do end up having them? But you know, if there are none available, definitely don't want to sleep on these Fantastic Four fellas. Obviously, pro players on the bench for a few of those pro rosters, and have the gunny to back that up as well. Methods is one of those players you really got to watch out for on the battlefield. Can really flip a control round or search and destroy round if you give them the opportunity to do so. But still, 1 round away for Easter to go up 2-1 in the series count versus Fantastic Four. And on their offense, they're going to move their way towards A.
Full stack, actually, towards A. Slacked is on a couple in a row, but he's going to have to challenge the pillars, but maybe a little bit too late to the party because, well, the party favors have been passed out. Pizza and drinks have been served. Slacked is able to find 1 elimination. Backs down, though. Second tick of progress, good. Desi now trying to pinch through Laundry. Methods also finding an elimination. Third tick of progress on the way, but there's just not a lot of members remaining for Easter. And the retake will be clean. Slacked on 5 kills in a row. And you feel like streaks might be a requirement to get back into this game. He does find his 6th. still staying alive up top. Now outside, number 7 is good, and because of the objective plays, he's earned full streaks.
Full streaks are, in fact, there. Of course, the kill shot, or the streak itself, will be able to be put to rest. A 2-for-1 trade. Easter is there, trying to work their way back in towards the safe zone. Would love this third tick of progress to extend the clock. And lives are pretty darn even to do so as well. There are 2 players there. Slack from inside of Laundry is able to find 1 nice shot. There's no way that fellow was full HP with only getting 1 bulleted there, though the headshot multiplier might be able to be the reasoning, though it's just a little bit of a split focus. The A zone will be fully secured, and now Easter can work their way across the middle of the map for B.
And Jerd actually wins a gunfight through the open window, so now Fellows met him mid-kitchen. Semtex just a touch too low. Desi still wants the chow, and well, the second Semtex from Slack much better than the first. So Fantastic Four will regain the kitchen. Now it's down to Easter's hit, coming largely through bedroom, but Fantastic Four are holding down some really good lines of sight, and this is going to take some work for Easter to get back onto this B zone.
Yes, it really will. Desi, big 1v1 shot punch is just better than Gravity's, and we'll be able to walk away with the kill. 1 minute left on the board. A 5-life lead for the defensive Fantastic Four, who still have slacked on the streaks, who still have slacked on the flank. They're going to stop this play from happening. It's a little bit of a pinch. Gonna go ahead and complete that with Desi, while the other players for Easter were working their way across Spiral. Again, that's the long time clock play that Easter are trying to set up for, but it's well read by Dave.
Desi on this 4 spree has help trying to stay alive through the 5th. Not going to happen. So that work that we were talking about that was required from Easter, they may have done enough. Working from the back and the front simultaneously, but Methods, 21 and 18. Also going to retrain the shots. That's not bad for a second. Slack able to pick up where he left off for the 3rd kill and a wipe of Easter. John at 30 and 16. Can he be the catalyst to get onto this site? He finds 1, but traded from behind. Desi on a couple, continues to live on the flank, but the trades are decent. Time becoming a problem. 5 seconds and Fellow tagged up. Can't make the play forward. Fantastic Four will send this to around 5.
Slack still has streaks, full streaks at that shift. I don't even think it matters what side that they get. You can really find the influence for those streaks here on Raid, where there's a lot of open land, a lot of opportunity to be able to bend the cruise missile, not to mention where even the ping is at for the opening breakoff here for Slotted Fantastic Four, who now have been able to win 2 rounds in a row off of a white-hot Easter start. I mean, John is still 31 and 17, by the way. 21 and 18 there for Gravity. You look on the opposite side, pretty even when it comes down to it, minus Dave at 12 and 22, but they're playing that role with the AR wonderfully. So here we go. It will be defense for Fantastic Four in round number 5. Easter again off the rip are trying to stack towards this A zone.
It's not bad. They're already pushing back a couple of them. Slack's in a familiar position, trying to play through pillars as one of the last one left alive. And I think at a certain point, you got to just look at that timing for Fantastic Four, because that's now 2 rounds in a row that they've tried to make this play through the middle work for a retake, and it eventually comes up unsuccessful. So only dropping a life so far as Easter, and with this couple of kills through the middle of the map, they have opportunities and angles to get onto this B zone really fast. Big demand here for Fantastic Four to hold solid defensively, and those kills will all be essentially in 1v1 fashion. All 4 members for Easter fall.
Yeah, it was Dave Patty up top, too. You got to remember that big old money position of Bedroom. Was able to find those cross angles over by the open staircase to join the likes of Methods, though not out of the woods quite yet. There's still 1 minute 45 left on the board and 24 lives just about on both sides. Easter, they're able to find themselves 2 kills. Player number 6 of Fellow is already inside of Kitchen as well, and that's a power position. Baits out 1, that's Desi, and now an opportunity for reinforcements to come through and to stop the clock at B.
Big win has to come through here for Dave. Getting tagged up from behind, bails away, uses the pillar as cover. Help from Methods. And Slack from the flank picks up maybe some damage at afar. That'll be good for Fantastic Four to recover their defense. Things were starting to get really hairy. And as John will clean up the spawn, he then turns his attention forward. In the back, number 8, John, making a play through spawn. He's going to keep forcing the spawns for Fantastic Four to be over by the laundry. The pinch play, though, once again, not all that well timed. Tries to make a play through basketball when nobody else from Easter was ready to move forward. And so once again, Fantastic Four recover and hold their ground.
Again, it's always like a chess master, right? There's constant flanks happening or trying to come through for Easter, and then it's Slacked on the opposite side, who I still believe is fully streaked out, by the way, and with 40 seconds remaining can just save those in their back pockets because it's the Gunnies from Fantastic Four that are doing a great job of just not allowing Easter to set up comfortably on this B site zone, rather, if not just able to get there with their full numbers. Every single time you see such as Gravity being able to find a two-piece, where are the rest of the members for Easter? Well, they're all respawning over by Garage. And now we're down to 22 seconds. The play for Easter is potentially to push all the way through Kitchen to help out Jared on the flank through the jungle side, while the push through the front has to be successful. It's not.
They're losing time, though, is the problem. John, he's 39 and 21. Would hate to see him drop 40 for the L, but that could be imminent. Might not matter, though. Easter moving their way forward. The streaks come forward. Slack gonna find two with those. 3 seconds on the clock. Gravity and Jerd, the last hope. Jerd, as he makes his play through. Tiki shut down by Slack on 4 in a row. Trying to slide forward, deals with Gravity, and Fantastic Four come back in. The streaks from Slack pay off massively, and John drops 40 for the L.
That is just so unfortunate. Things that you really hate to see. Again, that is 3 rounds in a row. This wasn't a back and forth affair by any means, Alan. This was two rounds as soon as we hopped in here in sequence for the side of Easter, and then 3 rounds right back in a row there for Fantastic Four. And it was great adaptations, right? Putting their ARs in positions where they can always cross over and look over their SMGs, one of which was Slack, who had so many opportunities to work so many different flanks and to be able to get those streaks. Like I talk about, that was going to go ahead and be the win condition. Forget about the time, forget about the lives. It was the time at the end of it all, but by the time that they finally got themselves on that B zone, you're out in the open. Worst comes to worst, you're going to be trapped inside a Tiki where they all get snuffed out anyway. Wonderfully executed for Fantastic Four.
That does put Fantastic Four now up in the series 2-1, but Easter's already been in this position once already on the day versus the likes of Built by Gamers, who we were focused on here on stream. They lost their series to Subliners Academy 0-3. We'll set things up, go to a small break. We'll come back to finish out the series, though, between Easter and Fantastic Four, right when we come back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Jumping on into map number 4. Fantastic Four already up 2-1, but the raid hardpoint looking good to start here for Easter. You have to feel like if John can put together even half the performance he did in the control, it should lead to some favorable outcomes overall for Easter, pending the rest of his team can match him on the battlefield.
Hey, would hope so. I mean, again, John might be a little upset again. You're dropping 40 kills for an L on a map like raid control. Definitely doesn't exactly bring good vibes, but you got to be able to wipe the sweat off your brow and hope that you can win this hard point and set into a map number 5 against a Fantastic Four roster that any given point in time can absolutely turn up. We saw that from Slack, who's now on a 3 spree to also join the likes of Methods. And looking pretty darn good going in towards P2. Fantastic Four have a pretty strong setup.
They sure seem to. Just comes down to, can they win some of these isolated 1v1s from the front and in the back? Well, Slack will take down 2 with him. Fellow, the last player to survive on that Easter attempt, never even made it through Tiki, so he's going to turn his attention right back to the front. John playing around the back. This is going to have to be a successful break here, but as John falls, Methods tallies up 5. Desi also getting involved for a double. Methods on 6, Slacked on 5. Fantastic Four all over the second hill.
Yeah, potential to play for a multitude of streaks as well, and you can start looking at that before you even work your way inside of P3. You can't just bulldoze your way in here, though we have seen some teams work for that success, especially when you have a player on 5 or 6 straight. You're going to be looking for a couple of entry kills, so that way you can work your way across the spawns, and when you slow and methodically do that, like you're seeing for Fantastic Four across Driveway, that'll actually force all of Easter to spawn out.
Jesse and Dave just essentially have to play cannon fodder, trying to get the 7th kill for Methods. Slack, you can even see, is just trying to watch the pinch, but this is all taking time, and Methods has already fallen due to Semtex. So now it's just on Slack to play for streaks, but he also drops his gravity lines up a couple. Dave, the only player to survive, doubling down, but eventually being traded means the first 30 seconds good for Easter, who are now right back in this game. Fantastic Four's next approach coming pretty quickly from multiple angles as well. Jerd's so worried about the gymnasium that no one actually recognizes Slack from the back. Oh, and he will find a double. Jerd not sure what he was shooting, maybe most of the car. He's missing the majority of Slack, tell you that much. And Fantastic Four break on in and resupplant their lead.
Yeah, again, for the risky play, so you can try to play for streaks, would have been big when you're looking at the rotation like we are right now with Fantastic Four. Like you talked about, we're able to sniff out a flank and work their way in, at least for the scrap time. That keeps Easter on their back foot. It's just a very small 30-second lead, but Easter are still looking to hold on towards P4. And they were able to do so. They're still able to spawn in dealing with the rest of the push through of Kitchen. Now with Fantastic Four spawning back in, it seems that they really want to rush all the way through that pool side.
Still working from the middle of the map. Actually, largely, all 4 members are now sitting either in money window or Kitchen itself. They're trying to play through the open window, and boy, will they. Desi finds 1. Jerd on the corner, good for a response. Help is there. Fellow and Jerd trying to keep this play alive, but as Fellow drops now, the reinforcements for Fantastic Four looking to mount this break. But actually, even with the favorable spawns by Laundry, number 5 and number 7, Slack and Desi, are going to play for a rotation just to win the middle of the map. So this is going to forfeit the full scrap time over to Easter, and they will get past the 100-point mark off this hold.
Yeah, you completely end up scrapping, maybe throw one more player or 2 fighting for that scrap time, but Easter is still spawning in, so you better hope that you can set up for this hill towards the middle of the map, but 2 kills do come the way of Easter outside of Kitchen. They have a pretty good angle of it. D5 has popped, Slack on the inside will drop. Now it's to the rest of the Fantastic Four inside of open staircase. Easter read that. They are in. Just a few more lingering members of Fantastic Four left alive before Easter can truly work their way in.
John able to find a couple. Slack finessing. Oh boy, doesn't get the better of gravity. 13 HP, stays alive. Easter looking at the back 30 seconds very favorably here on the 5th hard point. Desi's gonna maybe try to make a play through the open stairs. Fellow watching from Kitchen, trying to make sure that angle stays safe. Fantastic Four, they have to try to break through open stairs now completely. Cut down Gravity and John for all 3 members, and an open to get over towards the first hard point and maybe even set up a bit of a setup towards this first hill as well.
How many times are we going to sit here and look at Tom Gravity at 15-11, truly sit here and speculate that they can truly do it all when their team absolutely needs them to, though it's still on a 5 streak is John. The potential to play for streaks are there, though Gravity looks to hit this from the black van. Nice little pinch. Will find themselves their 2nd of this life. Gets the confirmation from behind. Will smoke Dave Patty. Had no idea where they're located at. The jump challenge on the Desi is good. Can they get the reload to be able to find number 5 in the streak? Fellows there for some good help. And Easter are just absolutely berating Fantastic Four on this hard point.
And now you've got Jerd in the middle of the map just making sure that nobody from Fantastic Four can freely make their way over to pillars. He actually finds a second elimination, way more than what would have been required. Gravity does finally get his 5th kill as he takes down Methods from above and Art. So 180 to 90, more than double the score here for Easter. They have barely given away a point of time in the last 2.5 hills. Fantastic Four backs up against the wall, as not only are they going to miss out on the scrap time, they're late to the rotation to Kitchen.
We were talking about how Fantastic Four are about to be over 100 points, or Easter rather, and now they're about to be over 200 points, plus some more as well. Look at the rotation over towards New. Fantastic Four, they're threatening it, but Shift, they need a full 60 inside of the Kitchen Hill. There's Gravity from Jungle, is able to find Methods, turns around, is able to find Slack. Gravity, you got to think that there was a world where they were able to find that 3rd kill, but still, threatening it all the more is Easter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He got both streaks, so job was done regardless of that elimination. That's win condition, you feel like, in the back pocket for Gravity. John trying to dance outside the laundry area. Gonna be shut down. Slack feeling the pressure from the front, moving into help, and help he does. 3 for 1 goes the exchange. John, the last player left, rotating back to the middle of the map. You have to win this rotation, though, if you're Fantastic Four. And with these couple of kills that are coming just from the hardpoint players, you can actually you don't have to worry about this pinch. You can just play for the flat-out rotation. And that's exactly what Slack is going to do. Fellow trying to work his way in for scrap time, but a Semtex will push him back, and now Fantastic Four, all 4 members making their way over to garage. Method stuck in pillars, not going to find any kills, but meanwhile, in the garage itself, F4 win the rotation and set themselves up for initial time.
It's got to be a sturdy setup as well. You got to make sure that you read that this push is coming through from the pool side. Slack is able to take down John. 1v1 off screen over by the AC. Dave is able to take down Jerd. So this is a fantastic setup for Fantastic Four. 2 for 1 trade though. Easter are still trying to work their way in via Red and Zig. A little bit of a stabilization happening in Fantastic Four. Would really love for the reinforcements to get here, but inside the hill, Easter are starting to flourish.
Gravity locking down Jim. That will be good for the lockup. Easter cannot win here, but Fantastic Four need to really consider how many players do you want to try to play for this back 20 seconds with. And they might not even be able to make the decision because these kills that are coming through for Easter will essentially force their hand. So now Easter making their play over to bedroom. Desi locking down the middle of the map. Not going to see anything. Appropriate timing to go check the open stairs. Semtex down. And Gravity's going to say this is go time to hit the streaks. Cruise missile will be used. He'll find 1 off the initial, the 2nd off the back end, and John will be the first one forward. He's going to get onto the hard point time. Him versus Methods potentially for the game. Wins it. And Easter will send us to a map 5 after a near 100-point victory here.
And again, it's just like we were highlighting, the streaks were 100% the GG factor coming through from Gravity, who was going on a tear. You see them here in the best play. This was the beginning of the kill streak that got them those score streaks there at the very end. And it really just came down to that leader's advantage, right? 1 break inside of P3. You got to rotate all the way across basketball court, which is more than out in the open. We've seen so many players become better and better and overall more consistent as far as that bend with the cruise missile to go inside that small room of basketball court, knowing that there's going to be a player trying to lock themselves in there. It also helped to find one as far as the targeting is concerned, going all the way down. It made that push through from 3 into 4 more potent, forcing all of Fantastic Four into absolute disarray. But it all came through that opening set of hills. I mean, there just wasn't really anything that was stopping Tom Gravity.
No, not at all. I mean, realistically, he almost put the game away himself through that first rotation. I mean, if he finds that 10th and 11th kill that you were kind of framing up, that's the hard point on P2 completely won with the spawns, and that's probably the game there. So, hell of an effort from Tom, really proving a point. But we take a look to see how exactly this series has fared. I know that we've been kind of looking into it here and there, but we do have at least the full list as far as what's happening. And after Easter, we were able to find the first hard point, 251.85. Fantastic Four bouncing back convincingly in the search, and then a little mini reverse sweep, I believe, in that control to win 3 straight rounds. But they would not be able to do the same thing here in the raid hard point. So if that's correct, it leaves us with the map 5, which actually will be an Express, not Miami. So we were just trying to fill in to see if we could make up the differential on what exactly these maps were, not having the full intel immediately, but that will at least be the case as we go forward. We'll set things to maybe just a small break here while we're waiting for the lobby to get set up. Actually, no, just kidding. They're already in the lobby at the moment. So we'll just sit here and kind of talk over the Express. I'm just mostly looking at the fact that John is taking over. Gravity's obviously still showing up. Is that going to be all you need, really, if you're going to win this series, if you're looking at this from Easter's POV?
Yeah, some would absolutely say that, especially for a map like Express, where you can get a flanking SMG, an entry SMG, which John was playing wonderfully before we saw the reverse sweep happen on that raid control, just as an example, to be able to find a lot of value. It came up flat in Checkmate, but that map is a lot harder to be able to find value with an SMG on Search and Destroy comparatively to Express, where you have those staircase, where you're able to work through office as well as lockers, depending on which site that you're thinking of. As well as your ARs. You got to think that the AR flex of Easter with Fellow could also flourish on a map like Express, but it doesn't go without saying the same amount of values that we saw from Fantastic Four on that Checkmate Search and Destroy. Methods was able to hold those longer lines of sight. Slack was able to find a lot of flanks as well, and that's what you're mostly got to be aware of going in towards a map like Express for them to really exploit those nooks and crannies.
And that's going to be interesting because you have to keep in mind that this Fantastic Four roster is technically new when it comes to this dynamic of these four players into this stage specifically. And during the Open, I think they finished top 32 overall. That was with a little bit of a different roster. There's been a ton of roster swaps that happened just before the qualifiers and even now beyond that as we were getting ready to go into the stage themselves. So, that has something to be said for it when it comes down to the familiarity overall. Easter has not been one of those teams to make moves, though. I mean, this team has been essentially the team since they became Easter. So you have to feel like they'd be more than prepared in a map like Express, not sit there and say that Fantastic Four won't be. It just comes down to those little nuanced, subconscious, unspoken moments that typically happen. Is that familiarity already built with a high confidence level? Because we know that we can see that out of Easter. I would say outside of the fact that we did see them lose that first Search and Destroy 1-6, which is a bit surprising, I think, overall. But who knows? Could be a different affair here as we get into an Express. Maybe this is their map pick. Kind of hard to say for sure, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget that Easter are your second place for Stage 2 Elite. Yeah. So, I mean, not switching anything up along the way. You got to hope that some of that blind trust is there. And that could be pivotal in a round like Search and Destroy for ARs watching over the shoulders of SMGs. But without further ado, here we go. Map number 5 between Easter versus Fantastic Four. We'll see Easter on offense first. They want this A push to happen. They know they're pretty darn clear. They just got to be aware of Dave Patty, who's on top of that catwalk.
Bomb's going to get down immediately. This was something that we were talking about. We didn't see a lot of bomb plants from a lot of the Search and Destroys throughout North America on the day. That's already changed, but Easter going to have to hold this in a 2v3 situation. Fellow trying to check to see if the defuse was coming. Gravity on the wrong side of the map, dealt with by Methods. First round good for the Fantastic Four retake.
Yeah, and you saw it just off the rip. Fantastic Four, they were heavy towards arrivals as well towards that staircase, assuming that it was going to be an immediate hit towards that info booth towards the BS&D site. It wasn't. And without immediate pushback, and you also had Dave over towards the catwalk first, was able to at least see a few players. I can only imagine some of the nerdy angles that you can find with an AR over on that side of the map. And just waited for the rotation to come on through. A brilliant retake had happened, isolating players over through the windows and lockers. Fantastic Four with the 1-round lead, but what can they offer here on offense? This is what I was framing up. Can be very deadly when you have the offering towards this BS&D site through main hall. The staircase is galore, but it's going to be a B hit regardless out of East or out of Fantastic Four.
But Fellows read this. He finds one elimination, can slide away to keep his life. Gravity was playing the other staircase, but Fellow turns for the gunfight and takes a second with him. The trade there, but the damage dealt as Easter's defense a little bit more passive towards B. Outside of Fellow's check, walks away successfully, and now leaves Fantastic Four in a very dangerous situation as they have to clear so much space. You see that Dave keeps looking behind him, and accordingly so, because Jerd is right behind this play. Gravity wallbang shots into Dave, shuts down his potential play for Spree as he was on 3 in a row. And now Methods in a 1v3. Lots of time to play with, but no bomb in hand. Shakes off the stun. Good for 1, but doesn't center in quite enough to get the second.
And again, it just comes down to that opening first blood like you talked about. Here's Fellow. Was in a prime spot. Not inside the main info booth, but that's okay. It was close enough to the staircase. And Slack thought about hitting it all the way through the staircase, though there's more than enough time that Fellow could hit it all the way through. Could have made it through the catwalk by then. And turns around and re-challenges it. So a great start to be able to turn that round back on its head. Well, it was initially going to be a 3v1. Again, we know that because of the X-ray in the mini-map, but Fantastic Four had no way of knowing that. Easter, though, towards this B site. No wall banks coming through from Methods, so no early damage stops Easter from working their way towards the B site.
It's not just no early damage, it's also no early info. Slacked able to find himself a double, playing from that same staircase that Fellow used to his success last round. Methods, Semtex will likely push him back, and Slacked working on a potential ace. He's found 3 in the round so far, and will need to find all 4. It's a 1v1 between him and Gravity. 57 seconds in which Gravity should collect this bomb and have an extra tool to play with. And he seems to know that Slacked has not moved away from this staircase yet. Now starting to second guess it just a touch. And just as he does, Slacked starts to make his move. Gravity looking to plant. Slacked, do you check this? Yep, he will. Free 4th kill. Ace comes through for Slacked and Fantastic Four. Go up 2-1.
And again, it's this position. We were highlighting no early damage, no early information, but here comes Slack off the rip. Confirmation off of the opening blood regardless. Knew that it was going to be this S&D hit. And then just challenges everything wonderfully. They did have some help across from some side angles, causing a little bit of a ruckus and distraction. But right down to that 1v1, just exhausting the clock, really only giving a handful of opportunities towards the remaining player of Easter. I'll see a 1-round lead for Fantastic Four. And most importantly, for Slacked, how long are they going to keep their life? On a 4 streak, bomb plant, defuse, whatever it may be going forward for them, the potential to play for streaks is on the table.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it is. And it's going to be an aggressive hit towards B. Easter doing the opposite. Defensively, they are already over the A site, but there's really not much they're going to be able to do against this potential B play. Slacked, going to get tagged up, wanting to stay alive. Fellow rotating over. Slacked hoping for the plant, but denied as Gravity finds the kill. Dave up top able to respond to 1 elimination, but John from the terminal pinching things up, leaves it just now to Dave. Pretty awful position. Not going to get through. Gravity would have been hard-pressed to get through more than that. And we go tied 2-2 here in map 5.
So the potential play for streaks was on the table, but it was a flimsy piece of paper, and it's a very windy day here, so it just flew right out the window. Gone like the wind. But wonderful again. Over towards that B site, Easter just seemed to have more than locked down defensively. Just watching where Fantastic Four are coming from and just being able to pounce on top of them. Or was a read to have more players there defensively. Maybe Fantastic Four might try the A side on their next offense. Easter, though, they don't care. No opening shots again. No info. You can see where Methods is at over by the info booth itself. Knows exactly what's happening on the other side.
Desi, Dave, responding to the first blood and tilting the numbers in favor of Fantastic Four. Bomb is down right on top of the B site. Gravity working on a handful in a row, ties things to a 2v2 situation. And then now John mid-map. Long-range shots with the SMG, just barely good enough to take down Slacked. And Dave finds himself in another 1v odd-man situation. But, oh, this is interesting because the angle that Dave is about to get from top trains would be good, but I think Gravity sniffs him out or gets a call out from John. So he backs off, resets, plants it in a safer location. Dave moving forward, needs to win 2 isolated gunfights. He's pressured, he's stuck. Oh, not going to do too much from there. And Easter right back into their winning ways as defense continues to prevail.
It's just trapped. Would love to be able to at least lock down that first kill, but like you called, Gravity saw it. If not being able to get the confirmation from a teammate, keep their life. Yeah, stuck in a 2v1, just a rat trapped. Nowhere to really go. Double challenge is not going to be favorable in that spot. But still, not out of the woods quite yet. Fantastic Four has still been able to at least showcase their ability to re-enter themselves in towards a search and destroy. You bring yourself back to that checkmate search and destroy in this very matchup. Even when they were down, they were certainly not out of the rounds. And here comes the adaptation that I was hinting at. And start focusing a little bit more towards the middle of the map and A rather than bull rushing towards B. But they clear out the main lobby, and they're just going to now duck towards the staircase. One player is defensively, it's Fellow. He's cut down.
1-for-1, John mid-map. Tilting the odds. Not bad at all. John's now on 4 in a row alongside Gravity. Bomb does get planted, though, by Fantastic Four. Methods watching one side, Slacked the other. Retake from Easter is going to be long time coming as they're making their way through the backside terminal. And Slacked is going to go hunting. The problem is he does not pick the correct angle. Will be caught up. Now it's just down to Methods to try to hold this. Pinch from multiple sides. Down to 80 HP. Has to take the gunfight. Gravity wins it. 6 in a row for Gravity. John wants to make sure he's got time to get there for the defuse, of which he does. And now 2 rounds in a row for Easter, putting them up 4-2.
And again, yeah, you highlighted it. It's John, the middle of the map. Even with a sub, that is a confident gunfight with some pretty darn crispy shots as well that you can see all the way over towards that site. We'll see it from their screen. It's that angle right there that you can not only help through the middle of the map as they finesse for this two-piece, defend the A side of the push comes through, the other side of the lobby and office, while also helping out Fellow over by the B side. Obviously, when Fellow gets first blooded, you know that that's the immediate angle you got to be looking towards. Easter are executing both defense and offense alike towards that B site wonderfully on this Express Search and Destroy through the previous few rounds. And yeah, don't fix what ain't broke here. Go straight towards that B site, see what Fantastic Four can do to stop it.
Method's able to find one, gets a second, grabs a
Ooh.
third, all from the same angle! Methods, all 4 kills. We saw him largely from the victim's POV. But how about the play of the game? We'll see it all from Winnie's POV. There's one. How about the second? Would you like a third? Hold down the trigger, bud, for a fourth. What an ace that is.
Dusty was there, obviously, throwing in a couple of shots, but those are team shots, and that's what you definitely love and respect. The challenge towards the last two almost just fully took them out their own self. 7-5 now for Zinni. 4 straight in that round for the ace. That's insanity. And that's exactly the momentum swing that you hope is there for Fantastic Four. So now you go over towards that B side. Methods is feeling himself on this angle. Yeah, challenge me over here. I dare you. Easter is not even going to give themselves the light of day. Closest player would be Fellow, of course. They're inside the main hall, but they got to worry about Dave Patty's on the opposite side.
Slack going to try to plant the bomb. No one's going to be here to contest it, and he should be able to get away with his life without any problem. So what is going to be the Easter retake? You've got John on one side. Gravity is still in maps. This is going to have to be a win from Jerd and John from Terminal, and they're going to give away their position by throwing this Semtex. Slack is just holding the corner. Here's the first. Thank you very much. How about a second? Good help from Methods. Desi gets the third, and now it's down to Gravity. There's really no time for him to find the kills, let alone to even get to the bomb site in time for a defuse. Puzzling things coming out, but Fantastic Four respond with a couple of rounds in a row to tie things up at 4, and Methods has to be pretty darn close to streaks.
Yeah, I mean, the benefit of the doubt for Gravity on opposite side, you don't know if there's a player up in catwalk or potentially watching the exit from that very long side, while the other players were mostly looking towards the entrance towards Arrivals, which they didn't fully clear the angle. And again, like you said, it was great help from Methods there to not only find their 5th in a row, but they also keep Slack alive on that very tight angle. 2 rounds in a row for Fantastic Four now. Easter going to be shifting their focus towards the A site. And what a read, a call off for Fantastic Four. They got 3 players here defensively. 2 already dropped, though.
Speed coming through. Dave, he is still playing pretty close to the bomb site, but can't even find a single elimination. Methods, he has to make a decision happen here, because this is going to give away round number 5. But if he can find a kill, he would be really working towards potential streaks. It's just so tough because you're late into this game already. It's just so difficult. He's also stuck kind of in this overpass. Down to 29 HP. And it looks like John is going to test him. And he actually dances right underneath the barrel of the gun. So now streak shut down and Easter on map point.
What a turnaround comparatively to the Checkmate Search and Destroy. And again, I highlighted it going in towards the Express Search and Destroy. This was a map comparatively to the 6-1 loss that Easter saw in this best of 5 series on Checkmate, that John can come to life. And what has been happening, John is flourishing on this map of Express Search and Destroy. 7-4. It's right there with Gravity at 8-5. And doesn't go unnoticed. The 6 and 8 for Fellow, again, they've been blooded a handful of times over towards B, but is playing that role so wonderfully. Fantastic Four potentially sent into a round 11. It's going to have to be an offense. A 2-2 split, 2 towards the main hall, 2 towards that B site. There's no immediate pressure out of Easter towards this B site, but again, it's going to be 1 player with an SMG. It's Jerd inside that info booth.
Yeah, this is all about Fantastic Four trying to deny Easter rotating over the middle of the map, but the problem is Jerd already slips in, so as first blood gets confirmed for Easter, Fantastic Four have to respond, and it might be a response to John on the flank. Here he comes, Dave, no chance whatsoever. Now down low, Methods down to a single shot worth of health. Fellow finds the kill, and maybe for the 2nd time in 2 straight matches, Easter in a map 5 bounce back to take the series against now Fantastic Four, and they will exit the day 2-0. In what, 6-4 in maps? What a steal away this was for a day of Easter.
That's not a bad spot to be in, right? You know, we keep on talking
at
about
all.
how that's not a bad, you know, it's a terrible start to the round robin matches. No, Subliners Academy Easter, they came out on top as they possibly could have. 2-0 start to the day. Not a bad look at for them. Again, for a team of 4 that came up second in stage number 2, already qualified and coming in towards the mix here on this very week. I mean, they go to map 5 2 other times, but, you know, in that last map of Search and Destroy, at least they were able to close it out. It's the W's that matter the most, and a little bit of breath of fresh air going in towards your matches tomorrow. You got some VOD to study to maybe try to work away from some of those other map losses.
Those are 2 playoff teams that Easter's able to work their way through. So that's not an easy way to start your group stage based on what we've seen in the past. But looking back over these maps in specific for this best of 5, well, it was hell of a recovery, really speaking, when it comes down to what Easter were able to put together on the map 4, map 5, after you saw Fantastic Four smoke their way through the Search and Destroy. And then what I think was 3 rounds in a row, if I'm not mistaken, they get back from an 0-2 deficit. Am I thinking about that wrong, or is that how that happened? I don't remember.
In the raid control, it was a reverse sweep in the raid control. As soon as we hopped into it, yeah, and that saw Slack going on an absolute tear. They went on like I think it was like an 8 to a 9 spree over by the blue van and over by Ring. Those streaks carried on over from round number 4 all the way to round number 5, where they were definitively able to close it out. And the raid hardpoint, it was just the pace that was coming out from the likes of Easter. John just could not be stopped, along with other supporting members like Fellow and Gravity, was the real final nail in the coffin with their streaks. Went on like an 8 to a 10 spree. I think right. Search and Destroy again. It was John, man. Playing through the middle of the map, being able to be quite literally some of the most flexible that I've seen on an SMG on Express Search and Destroy in quite some time. Really was able to help their team win out a lot of those key rounds.
Well, that wraps our coverage here with the community stream. The main stream is still live at the moment as UT Crew up 2-1 versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is currently going on. So make sure you stop over with them. We will be back tomorrow for the same broadcast, same production for both Europe and North America. So make sure you stay tuned for everything going on Elite and Challengers right here. Subscribe on your way out. And of course, make sure you join our friends over on the main channel at youtube.com/COD Challengers. But for this evening, we say farewell. We'll catch you right back here tomorrow for more. Till that point, though, hope you keep holding it down. So long.